Gonna like just wait a minute or two for people to flow on in.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, hi. Hi, hello, welcome.
Hello, hello.
Hi, welcome to the Trophy Room pre-show. I'm your host, Joseph. Alongside me, the greatest co-host who ever is. I'm Shy.
Oh, okay.
Kyle, how are you, sir?
Still hot, still tired.
Yep.
But I'm here. I'm excited to talk with y'all.
All right. Good. Do you have any, like, I don't know, do you have any ways of, like, cooling off?
Is it like the pool that's outside that I can't go in during my work week at all?
Oh, what if you found a way? Hear me out. What if you found a way? Like, you're in, like, a little tube. Maybe you get yourself a nice little cheap, like, Acer laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Hook that up to the Wi-Fi, and you have, like, a
Ziploc
floaty.
Bag?
Ziploc bag, just in case.
Okay.
Put it on a little floaty, and then you're just...
Like that old school, what was it, from the 70s, like the plastic lining that people would put on their couches?
Yes,
like a plastic lined laptop.
100%. And listen, we're both large and in charge individuals. The one thing about being large and in charge, you could rest stuff on your stomach really easily, and you can just go like this.
You know what you need to do is, do you have a shallow end, or is it one of those pools that's just kind of all
It's
deep?
just above ground. It's all like 5 feet around. Yeah.
I used to just put my computer at the edge of the pool and then by the stairs, and then I would just like lay on the stairs, but the computer would be out, so I'd just be like while I was floating with my body.
It's torture when I'm sitting here because it's right there. Like, I'm in the basement, but there's a door that goes outside, and I just hear the girls just swimming around having a great time while I'm down here dripping all day.
Hear me out, kiddie pool.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. There we go. I'll put it under my desk for like
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Business on top, bathing suit on bottom. We'll never know.
I like that idea a lot. Yeah.
I chuckled midway through, like, you were giving your explanation, because I remembered we used to have an above ground pool, but my cousin, who shall remain nameless, Carlos, he broke it because he put his foot right through it while trying to do the Spider-Man maneuver we all do in the pool. He tried to launch himself in this cheap above ground pool, which it was so cheap. Like, it was like $200 maybe in the 90s. And like he tries to jump off and just like foot right through. And my dad, oh my God, he always hated him. But yeah, no, those are good memories. Never again with a pool, unfortunately. But like, I feel like that would be me living the life. Sure. If I was able to, buy my own place with what is it? Just a regular like pool, not above ground. Oh my God, that's it.
I can't wait to one day hopefully have a house that has a pool with a deep end. Because listen, I love the cooling off of the above ground pool.
Love it.
But sometimes I want to float and not have to touch any part of the pool at all times.
And like for me, because I've been going to the town pool, I would just like it that these damn kids that run it clean the pool. Okay? There's so many flies and
such
like
an
rats.
old man.
Just clean it, man.
These damn kids.
Yeah. Light, you want to hear this? My town's pool has been run by like a Lord of the Flies situation.
Oh God.
These kids, they all look 12 to me. So like this one 12-year-old I overhear, hey Stacy, I heard this really cool this cool really old song. Can I play it?
No.
And she's like,
no.
Yeah, sure. She puts on Depeche Mode.
No.
Like,
I knew it was gonna hurt. I knew it was gonna hurt.
I never felt older in my life.
Yeah.
But good news, I'm getting better at swimming. I'm starting to beat the Joe Biden lookalike, which is great. He's
Are you
an
having
83-year-old man
every day?
Yeah, I go, I'm going to race you, old man. He's like, where am I? I'm not joking around. I'm not kidding around. And then we go for a race. And he still beats me, but I'm getting close. Light, I have a question for you, miss.
I've got an answer.
Have you been watching the Olympics?
No.
I've been seeing the memes.
I've been seeing the memes and the TikToks, but I haven't watched really any of it because as soon as I try to put it on, my toddler's like, Bear in the Big Blue House. I'm like, I'm tired of that show.
Now, is your kid is your kid starting to ask for like Bluey?
She doesn't love Bluey, but she does have shows that she asks for. It depends on the week. Right now, she's obsessed with Little Einsteins.
Okay.
Oh, that's cute. Okay,
which is an older show, so I know that show. But
yeah. My nephew,
she also loves the Spider-Man and Friends show.
Very cool. I wish my nephew like that. All we're stuck with is watching dump truck toy videos, or dinosaurs, sharks, or my nieces introduce him to the meme of Skibbity Toilet, and we've been watching that nonstop.
Okay, what is that?
I just reacted to something about that, and I was like, I don't understand this language.
I don't either, but he loves watching it, and I think it's completely not okay, but he has a fit.
Skibbity Ohio Riz. What does that mean?
I don't
know.
What is that? I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm like, I haven't been teaching for 2 years. It hasn't been that long. How has language changed so much?
What is Skibbity Toilet?
Oh, jeez. Don't go down that rabbit hole.
Should
we look
wait
up
for
Google
the main
Translate?
Show to ask the question? Because I genuinely...
What does Skibbity mean?
Yeah, what does Skibbity mean? Joe, what I legit
brain rot.
Brain rot, there you go.
Brain rot toilet?
It's legit, I think the guy from Gmod.
Okay.
Coming out of a toilet bowl, and he's just going, skibbity dap dap, skibbity dibbity. Not here to hurt nobody. And then that's it, over and over again, nonstop.
That is amazing.
And now they have like surveillance, like these Men in Black type, like government people, but they're not humans, but they're like security cameras for heads, and they're like going against the Skibbity toilets. It's so dumb. I
found a translate on Reddit because Reddit has all the answers. So Ohio is eerie in a Twilight Zone way. Skibbity is kind of gross, but also kind of funny.
Okay.
Gyat, which, Lord, I'm not saying that right. It's like, goddamn.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sigma is a lone wolf, aggressively disinterested in social approval. Riz is charisma. I did know that one.
We all know a Sigma. We all know a Sigma.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I got.
Wait,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm not saying that again. You're not going to say that again. Once was enough for my lifetime.
It's amazing. Yeah. Yep, that might be the new slanger. We don't know yet. Only time will tell. All right, everybody, you ready to get into the
I will,
main show?
but just everyone here for the pre-show. We're not doing Guess the Game because we have something special lined up for on OBS for the main show. So next week we'll have an extra long pre-show where we're guessing a whole lot of stuff. Cool. All right, chat. We will see you in exactly 16 seconds.
Oh, wait, no longer greatness has arrived. Welcome to episode 387 of The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I'm your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badbit, and it is here where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Of course, this week, we talk about the beautiful Astro Bot DualSense. Bungie lays off 220 employees. PSVR 2 sales are blowing up. Light and Joe got to play Star Wars Outlaws. Oh gosh, yes, we did. And so much more as we do it live each and every single Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on youtube.com/PS Trophy Room and on audio services the very next day after. With all that said, and with all that out of the way, the greatest co-host whoever is, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson. Did you see my dyslexia almost tanked the show at 5 seconds in?
It never tanks the show.
Oh, I almost said 78 instead of 87.
So what?
The show had been ruined.
Yeah.
So what?
I'm like, we're starting over.
Joe, we both know that number is so wrong. We're probably in the 400s by now.
We really are. We really are. Light, by the way, everybody, welcome Miss Light from Lightweight Games. Hi, how are you?
Thank you for having me back again.
Of course. Our episode 400.
I'm so sorry for laughing.
Oh, no.
Dewani in chat puts what he thought gyat means.
What does he think gyat means?
Gyat is a female anatomy term, I thought. Example, her gyat got that gorilla grip.
This is why you guys need to show up in the pre-show.
Oh
We found out what Skibbity Toilet is. I still really don't know what it is.
Oh my goodness.
And a whole bunch of stuff. I now totally forgot what I was gonna ask Light. I am so sorry. Light, how are you doing?
I am great. I'm so happy to be back. It was one of those things where I did it once and I was like, I hope I get to be back with them. So I'm so happy to be here.
And thank you so much for showing up on such short notice, because I saw you. You got to play it as well as I did, and so I was like, what better way? Bring her back on the show. Let's have a full-blown conversation about Star Wars Outlaws, because I finally get to talk about it. I really want that conversation so bad.
I'm definitely not jealous or anything. It's totally fine.
I mean, that said, Kyle, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because I embarrassed myself when, when there are games that interest us, we try to, pitch ourselves to them and see if we can't get a developer on or whatnot. Sure. My dyslexia kicked into overdrive, and I mixed the words up, and I put I don't want to say the name because it'd be really embarrassing for me. So imagine I requested coverage for Bloodborne. Instead, I said Born Blood.
Oh, cool.
Oh no!
And I did that throughout the press release or the
pitch.
The pitch. Yeah. Has that happened to you yet on your side?
Like someone saying that to me?
I mean, yes, but also you
I've caught a couple times where it got misspelled at the very last second and freaking out, or after something goes out, notice something that I didn't catch and not feeling the best about it. Because I should be better about it, but mistakes happen. It's totally fine.
Now, when it's on you, their end, do you feel like a little offended, or you're like, yeah, it's all right, things happen?
I'm only offended when, and this is a widespread issue amongst everyone that works in Games PR, are the Steam curators who ask for codes and all they do is write reviews on their personal Steam page. They're so adamant and they're so persistent, and they make up stories to fit the theme of their name. Like, one is like, I forgot the exact name, but this person wrote I'm a baker, and the last thing I need to make the perfect muffin is a key to your game. And that kind of cringy things.
Okay.
I get those a lot. I've learned to just kind of ignore them.
Fair.
Whenever I'm feeling self-conscious about applying for a game key, I just need to remember them.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Please do.
If this baker can request a key for their perfect ingredient,
Exactly.
We're good. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like I drone on too much. So I go, I do the little thesis. Hey, I'm Joe from the Trophy Room, requesting this game or coverage for this thing, and then I just do here's a little FYI about ourselves, and then here's what we do if we had the chance to cover the thing.
If it's an initial reach out, that's totally that's what I would do, and then once you continue to work with them, then it can get shorter and shorter.
Yeah,
once you have that.
I really do. The short tenure I worked in Games PR, the people that feel like they're doing you the favor. It's this is no. That's not how this works, okay? It's this is the very, both, the energy has to be the same from us,
The symbiotic relationship.
Exactly. Don't oversell yourself. Don't do that. Just state your statistics. I don't need to smell the fart as you're passing the gas. That's how I felt sometimes with some folks. It's I could really do you the favor.
I've legit never heard that phrase before ever.
Well, that's good. I just made it up.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, is that a Jersey thing or?
It's geez.
No. That's just my dumb brain and how it works. All right, listen. Let's talk about PlayStation. Let's talk about some limited edition controllers. Let's talk about, most importantly, Star Wars Outlaws. Before we do, of course, a little bit of housekeeping. We got the Trophy Room store merch. BB, go link in the description to that. Get yourself a shirt. I got to hang out with Katie. She came to New York City, and I saw her. She was repping, Kyle, Team Banger shirt. You believe that?
The correct team.
I don't think so.
Well,
I was very disappointed. She apologized as she showed me. I was like,
Katie, if you're listening to this on your flight back, you have nothing to apologize for. Absolutely nothing.
No, she was a gosh dang gem. I love Katie so much. It was awesome. It's really the best part of the trophy room is when we get to actually meet y'all in person. We get to like play games together. That is literally it. You know. So thank you so much, Katie. Also, hey, buy the players. And this is pitch comes from Drellish. Actually, I'm going to shorten it a little bit because he hasn't sent me a new pitch in God knows how long. So, gang, By the Players, it's our community game show where each and every month we talk about a game that we loved. This month, the month of August, we are doing Tales of Kenzara Zao. If you are interested, if you want to talk about that game with fellow like-minded gamers, with Kyle and I as well, come. Ask either Drellish or Marcus O'Neill when the next day is in August that we get to record and, just have a blast, talk about the game, celebrate it as well, because God knows, we need more celebrations around games. So go hit up Marcus O'Neill 79 or Drellish on Discord if you want more information on that. And of course, it's our Patreon pitch. If we ever got you through a long car ride, a tough day at work, whatever your situation may be, it really does help us out. It helps the show going. It's the reason why we look so great, sound so good, is because of your generosity over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. And these newest members have gotten a lot of shout outs this month because I keep on forgetting to renew the list. So you guys really getting your money's worth for the month of July. Shout out to you, Stingray X at the bronze tier, Luke Field at the bronze tier, Big G at the silver tier. I want to thank our platinum producers, Todd Burowitz and Toxic. I want to thank our platinum members, Jay Shea, Jedi Master N, Cowboy Danger D, Jonas Young, The Green Gorilla Gamer, Chaotic Monkey, Ryuko Kill 90, Stephen Flesh, Strubles and Bits, Bertos Maximus, Chris Hybrid 748, Matt Valdez, Silcanet, Decimine, Mitchell Gramling, and Mike Thomas. I swear to God, if I said Jay Shea instead of JC again, I'm going to throw myself through a window. Anyway, gold members, Cypher Primus, Star Simon the Pie Man, Jesse Garcia, JB the Purple Monkey, Hide Indoors, Katie, Kevin Mitchell, Kevin Diaz, Marcus O'Neill, The Red Arrow, Aegis Hermit, Androsaur, Astronaut Jr., Winter Gamer, Robbie Bobby Miller himself, Brenton Zachary, Final Fan XZ, Hambone, JD Dillinger, Stone Cold, E.T., Tino Six Speed, N. Johnson, Sean McKenzie, Rick Arrington, Matthew King, Duh Overlord, Duane Raksha, Drellish, Rick Davis, Steph Midler, Samuel Nestling, Maximum Carnage, Solo, and the Lord Commander Suddy. Thank you all so much for your patronage. It really does mean a lot. With that said, Kyle, it is finally time to square up the news.
Before we do that, in case anyone missed Lights at last episode, what do you do on the interwebs?
Oh, hi.
I'm a bad host. I totally forgot. I'm so sorry.
I didn't even think about it either. I've been here before.
The GAT, and we talked about other things. We got
distracted.
Yeah.
We were talking about farts. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. They're parables about farts.
I make gaming content and reaction content. Actually, super close to 100,000 subscribers on my gaming channel, which is really exciting. That's been my newest thing, which I'm just like geeking out over. So that's been really cool. So mostly doing gaming content there and then reacting to movies on another channel. And that's pretty much it. Streaming a lot. I just started on Twitch, which has been fun. Nice. But trying a lot of new things, and it's scary, man.
My God. We're about to try a whole bunch of new stuff, and that's very scary.
I did my first raid last night, and I forgot to end my stream after I raided, so that was not embarrassing at all.
Oh, no.
Not embarrassing at all. It's totally great. It's totally fine.
Yeah. No, God. That is like my biggest fear every time like we end a show or any podcast. I'm like, is the camera off? I make sure everything's off. And then like I turn around and I make sure the screen's black, and then I press the button. And I'm like, okay, we're good.
I'm like, what if I like, did I itch my boob? Like, what did I belch? Like, what was I doing?
Did I fart?
What's going on?
What has been your favorite movie you did react to on your movie react channel?
Probably the very first one I did, which was Interstellar.
Hell yeah.
That movie destroyed me, and it was beautiful.
Yep.
I have not watched that movie yet.
Oh.
I know I need to.
I watched it for the first time this year. Actually, we talked about this last time you were on. Yeah, we watched it around the same time. Mm-hmm. It's really good, Joe.
I love a good Christopher Nolan. I still have not seen Oppenheimer because spoiler alert, I kind of know what happens. But like, but also like Interstellar seems like it's up my alley. And I saw like the rankings of all his movies. Tenet only got like a 60 something on Rotten
I haven't
Tomatoes,
seen that
Nobody
movie
understood
either.
it.
Yeah.
but it was cool.
Yeah, that's
You know?
Interstellar. Interstellar was only in the 70s, and I was like, that is a crime against humanity. Like that makes no sense. That makes no sense.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Kyle. Now it's
Now
time
we can square it up.
to square up the
First
news.
bit of news that's getting squared up comes to us from Chris Scullion over at VGC, and Chris writes, Astrobot is getting a limited edition PS5 DualSense controller. The Astrobot limited edition DualSense will be released on September 6th, the same day as the Astrobot game. The controller will be priced at $79.99 US dollars. Pre-orders for the controller will be available through PlayStation Direct from August 9th in the US, UK, France, Germany, Belgium, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Italy, Spain, Austria, and Portugal. The controller is based on the Living controller, which can be seen in the first trailer for Astrobot. Quote, we know many of you were hoping for this after seeing the game trailer, Team Asobi studio head Nicholas Doucette said on the official PlayStation blog. So we quickly asked our lovely bots to engineer this beauty, and ta-da! No, I'm just kidding. It had been in the making for some time, carefully crafted by the amazing teams at SIE, and what splendid work they did. The controller's design features Astro's signature blue accents on the handles and buttons, carved in sci-fi lines, as well as the trademark playful pair of eyes on the touchpad. It is a true work of art, and we could not be happier with the end result at Team Asobi, end quote. Set for release in September, Astrobot takes players with rescuing over 150 iconic VIP bots inspired by legendary characters from 30 years of PlayStation history, according to Sony. The platformer follows Astro's Playroom, the popular PlayStation 5 pack-in, which has now been bundled with more than 60 million consoles.
Ooh-wee. Finally, the calls have been answered, Kyle. Of course, this kind of actually, I want to know what you think, though. Like, I feel like there's been a lot of pressure for Sony to show this controller because a few days before, Concord shared their controller, and it looks really awesome. Limited edition, only through PlayStation Direct, which, light spoiler alert, Kyle and I can't buy anything through PlayStation Direct. There's
Why
a
not?
weird error on it.
Oh no.
It charges us, then immediately refunds the money and says there's an issue every single time.
Every single time, without fail.
That's so weird.
And when we contact them, they're like, "Oh, sorry, there's nothing we can do for you. Go to another retailer." It's only
That's
through
why-
you. I don't. What do you mean?
That's why when people go, "Oh, you guys are sold out by Sony," it's like, really? Because we'd like to buy stuff from them. They don't even let us. Like,
They
that's
don't want
what
us
it
to. They don't want us here.
is. They really don't want our money in the slightest. And everybody's like, yeah, neat controller, but I want to see Astrobot. Gosh dang it. So Kyle, I'm gonna go to you first here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you think there was maybe a little pressure of Sony going, all right, let's just show this controller, or you just think, just timing? We're just showing
timing.
off controllers now.
Yeah, just timing. Well, because like Concord and Astro Bot are similar to each other, or release window wise, like they're a few weeks apart. So
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think it's show this one because we just showed that one kind of thing. I think it's just how it lined up.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Well, I take this question over to you. Where's your hype level for little Astrobot? Because you got a little daughter, right? She's
I
running
do.
around hooting and
I
hollering.
do.
Does she have an affinity for the little bot as well? I want to know.
She does not yet. We have not introduced her to Astrobot. She's big into Yarny right now. From
okay.
Unraveled.
Yeah.
But we have not introduced her to Astrobot. I'm sure she would love it though, so that's actually a good. I should probably do that.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I don't think I'm as excited as other people, simply because I'm not a huge platformer. But I did love Astrobot's Playroom. I did platinum that. I was really excited for that. I thought what they did with the haptic controller was like incredible. And he's just so cute. And I looked for Astrobot merch right after. Couldn't find anything. So I'm just happy that they're showing a little bit of love. I know they have like little figurines somewhere,
Yep.
but I keep seeing people talk about them and then I go looking for them and I can't find them. So
There is a version where if you pre-order Astrobot physically at one outlet, it comes with a plush. of Astro Bot.
Okay.
I'll see if I have to find it, and I will share it with you. Cause
Yes, please do.
Yes, please.
So I'm just glad they're giving him some merch love, because I feel like he doesn't really have a ton out there. If if it's hard to find, it's not enough. There needs to be more, because people are obsessed with that little guy.
Yeah,
They really are.
With the little promo image of like all the little Astro Bots climbing on the controller. I'm
So
like,
cute.
where's my little gang of Astro Boys?
Could you imagine if they sold little figurines for all of the Astro Bots they had from every game?
Oh my god.
They would make a killing. Like, even if they were just little things like that, they would be like a pop figure, but an Astro Bot from a video game.
It's PlayStation's Amiibo. It's just
Yeah.
Astro Bot.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be so cool.
God, that would be so awesome. Yes. And how do you like this controller? How do you feel like it looks? Is this a day one purchase for you, or you're trying to adult and this is something you're gonna have to resist?
I love it, but unfortunately, I probably won't get it because I just, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a controller, and it is really cute, and it's probably going to be really cute when you're actually playing and you can feel the haptics, and it's like him giving you the haptics. That's going to be adorable. But PlayStation, if you're watching this, if you want to send out some free ones to us, like, that would be great.
They
We
don't
would love
watch
that.
our show.
We would love that.
Or just, you know what? The least you could do is let us buy stuff from your store.
Yeah.
Or just like No, but I get why the price point is where it is, but that's just unfortunately not in the budget at the moment, And I do have the really cool Spider-Man one. So it's like, how do you stop using that one? I don't know.
I truthfully have no idea, because it's so beautiful.
Astro
I have
has
a weird
plush
thing.
on its own at Fangamer, by the way.
Oh, and I do love Fangamer. I have a lot of Fangamer plushes.
All right, and now it's time. Share the link there, Kyle.
I am gonna go shopping after this.
Exactly, for science. So Kyle, I'll bring this one over to you. What do you think about this controller? Is this something that you're gonna try to adult and move past it? I don't need controllers. I don't need this many. Or are you gonna be irresponsible like myself and get that on day one? Oh, Kyle, yes.
Quick timeout. Zencaster stopped for me.
Zencaster stopped for Kyle.
I just want to.
Oh no, Joe. Oh, it says I'm having the problem. See, it says participant Joseph Moran is having a problem. Participants member blah, 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 failure reason not supported. Execute start on media recorder. You're not my mom. The error was started a media receiver. We are stopping the recording to prevent loss. All right, well, it's saying hit new recording.
Okay.
So I'm gonna hit new recording.
Uh-huh.
Now it's gonna send me to a new room.
Yep.
Kyle, could you walk
like
how
all
to
you
do
have
it?
to do, it should pop up, say, with join.
Yeah.
Just hit that and you'll join the new room.
Okay. Am I in?
Yep.
Think
I
I'm
see
good.
you in there.
Yay. Love technology.
I know, it's great.
It always works.
Always.
And there wasn't a bad error in front of us, and that's why we have to start here right now. What was the last thing I was saying, Kyle?
Something about the Astro Bot DualSense. You were going to ask me
Oh,
about
right.
it?
There you go. I got you. So, Kyle, are you going to be buying this thing day one?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? I am a weak human being. You showed me a cool controller for the preferred gaming system that I put thousands upon thousands of hours in every single year. Yeah, I'm going to get it. And what we're going to do here in a little bit, like I only own 2 of them.
Okay.
Somebody has one that I badly want, but it's very expensive.
I feel like this just shows the stark difference of 2 people that don't have kids and 1 person that does,
That's a problem. My nieces and nephew are like mine.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be buying the controller, but I'm a weak man.
And here I am, like in arms, like I got like the Starfield controller. I'm like, see, we're just like, who cares? The kid has to eat. I don't know, not me.
No, my problem is I have weaknesses for other things, so it's like I spent all my money there, and now I have no money for controller.
That's fair.
This looks cool and all. I still want PlayStation to do their own design lab. I still want to customize my own DualSense and have like a Mets themed controller, because that'd be awesome.
It is a really good step in the right direction, though, because it seems like they are now finally starting to like celebrate their game releases a little bit more. Like I feel like it started with it really kind of started with like God of War Ragnarok with its controller, because I really would have loved to have like a Horizon one,
Well,
you
Ugh,
know?
that would have been so
to be
pretty.
fair, during
Yeah.
PS4, we got the Last of Us Part 2 controller, that
Mhm.
Ellie's tattoo, like on the
Yep.
bot holder. MLB The Show PS3 time had like an actual, what do they call? What was the DualShock 3?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? That looks like a baseball and had like, it was white with the red stitching all over it. I love that
Oh, you mean
controller.
I thought like it was shaped like a
No,
baseball,
oh
kind of like
God,
the
no.
Resident Evil controller
How'd
shaped.
you hold that?
No.
It's an orb.
So they've done it in the past, but I really like how intricate these designs are of the dual senses. They're super cool looking.
Okay. Well, here's what we're gonna do, and I know it's a visual thing, but I want to rate these controllers because they have so far given us 7 limited edition controllers. I want to break down each one of like kind of making a tier list, because just like how someone writes in, Mool, I'm gonna butcher your name. I'm so sorry. Moloon writes, time for a tier list for these DualSense controllers. So it is time. I feel like 7 is just the perfect amount to really give them like a nice letter grade and to find out truly what is the best limited edition controller. So I'm going to kind of go by one. I'm going to go through them one by one. Then we're going to find out who the winner is.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with number 7. What I think is easily the worst one. And it should be a resounding yay.
Mm-hmm.
The LeBron James controller is disgusting.
That's the one on the bottom.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
the one
on
at the very bottom. It says like everything is earned. And it's like the little crown. It's just like a bunch of like dumb sayings and like scribbling like his logo on it. It sucks.
I
Thoughts?
think that is my least favorite, just because it's not tied to a game.
Okay.
Agreed.
It's kind of
Fair
like
enough.
random.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
So all right, we agree. King James, actually the worst. controller
Great at
here.
basketball, not great at controller design.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It wasn't his strong suit.
No. Mm-mm.
Great handwriting, though, James. Great handwriting. I'm gonna go with this next one, number 6. I want to know where you guys would rate this. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever. The God of War controller. Where are we putting this on the tier list? Is this at number 6 right next to LeBron? Because to me, hot take, it's a boring controller. I'm bored looking at it.
I was gonna say it the same. Like, I love that controller. I
Yeah.
really, really like it. Side by side with the other ones, it pales in comparison.
It really does. Like, you feel the same?
Yeah, it's just boring. Like I like the design, but they could have done so much more with it. Like I have the Leviathan axe tattoo on me. They could have done something so cool with that. Like, could you imagine if they had that so it glowed, or like they could have done something so cool with the coloring. It's just like the blue and the white. It just feels flat to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the wolves and I don't know. They could have just done more.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Do you have any other gaming tattoos?
Yeah. So I have the Leviathan axe one that goes like this down my arm, and then I have Skyrim.
Nope. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, like the little emblem like that show like on the map. Is that
So
what it is?
this is from the Thieves Guilds. You find it etched on houses and stuff. This one is the protected, so like don't go in this one. But this is like this is Irish. Well, it's Ogham. It says health, and then this is protected. So this is like my
Nice.
my arm of
nice.
protection.
I like that.
I love that. Yeah, I have a so yeah, the audience knows, but I have only one tattoo. It's of my dog who passed away. His paw is on my calf.
Mhm.
I really desperately want Ellie's tattoo.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I'm good with tattoos after that.
I need to get
maybe
a
one
Witcher
Star
one
Wars one.
still.
Mm.
Okay, fair enough.
I have a lot of tattoos I want.
That's
Yeah,
so-
They're
It's also
expensive.
you got
They're
sleeves.
very
Sleeves are cool to me.
expensive.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so we agree. These two kind of lame.
Mm-hmm.
How about the Hogwarts Legacy one? Where are we going with Hogwarts Legacy controller here? It's not a PlayStation exclusive game, but it is a limited time controller. I think it looks pretty cool.
I do
But
love this
where-
one. I'm a sucker
right?
for black and gold though. Like that's my
Same.
bread and butter. That just speaks to me every time. So I do think it's really pretty.
But is it prettier than the Final Fantasy one? That's where I my mind goes. Because
Is
there's
it
also
Final-
black gold.
Top left.
Final Fantasy is the top left one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, definitely not prettier than that one.
Right?
For me, like it's tough to say this because there's 5 that are just black controllers with colors on them out of this.
That's fair. That's fair.
But to me, that one looks, it's similar to the LeBron one where it feels like decals on a regular black DualSense.
That's
fair.
fair. Okay.
So it's more towards the bottom for me.
Mm.
I would be curious to see how that one looks in person. Like, is it
Yes.
more metallic-y
Yep.
gold in person, or does it look like painted on, or
That's a
like
great
the,
point.
the decal?
Because I like how it has the Hogwarts. What's the school called? I mean, the Hogwarts school.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
it's called. Yeah.
It's Hogwarts.
I remembered. Like the game. God damn it, Joe. I'm so dumb. What's wrong with me today?
It would have been
Yeah.
really cool if, granted, there's no way they would have done this, but if have a special edition for each house,
hmm
like a Gryffindor theme,
Ooh.
Slytherin, Hufflepuff,
Right.
Ravenclaw.
I'm Ravenclaw.
Same.
Yeah. I feel like Ravenclaw doesn't get enough love.
It doesn't.
We're pretty cool. Like we're a little bit of like bad. We're kind of like smart too, or something like that.
Kyle, are you a Hufflepuff?
No, I'm a Gryffindor.
Okay.
Ooh, I could have took you for a Hufflepuff.
I mean,
You're-
as long as I'm not a
kind of
Slytherin,
so.
we're good.
But my best friend's Slytherin.
I mean, that
Amy
fits.
Slytherin.
That fits.
It is. She's a wicked. She's the worst. Okay, so Hogwarts controller, we're gonna put at 5th place.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do we think right afterwards? Because this is where I think the next 3 controllers are, as the kids say, heat or gat. I think, right?
I think there's more of a yeah in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You know what, chat? Let me know. How do I pronounce yat?
That's good. That was good.
That was pretty good.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
Who has a youth they can ask?
Yeah,
Are the youths?
Gotta stay young. Final Fantasy VII controller. There's a lot of like,
16.
what did I say?
7.
Oh gosh darn! They should have done a 7 one.
They should have. Maybe for the last one, they'll do one.
Maybe that's a missed opportunity if they don't. So Final Fantasy 16 controller. This was exclusive to Japan, but humble brag, I do have one. Treated myself.
Mm-hmm.
Eat shit, Kyle. I think that one's easy. We put that up for as well.
I disagree.
Oh.
I hate to say this
Okay.
because we just talked about it. I think Astro's next.
You think
I-
Astro Bot's controller?
I love the white. I love the metallic blue sides. I love the light blue buttons. I don't know how I feel about the eyeballs on the touchpad.
That's the part that I love.
Right? That's the part I love.
You're so cute. He's like looking at you.
Yeah, no, I get it's just I like the intricate designs of the other ones more.
Yeah.
But again, this is totally be like once it's in my hands, I have a completely different feeling on it. But
Okay.
You need to hear him
Wow.
talking to you.
yeah.
And maybe Kyle doesn't want to be stared at with the eyes, you know?
It's like when you accidentally turn the front camera on your phone when you're.
Exactly.
I
Whoa.
also do like how it's like white thumbsticks too.
Yeah.
Those are really nice too.
Wow. Heated opinion here. That's interesting. Can we overrule you because we're 2v1? We think Final Fantasy 7 goes here?
16,
What place are we
for
at
sure.
right now?
16? God,
5, I think.
we're at 5, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
7, 6.
This is not a good
No, this would be the
methodology of what
4th.
we're doing. Right, 4th. You're right. Kyle keeping me on track. So what's number 3 here? What's the 3rd best looking controller so far?
I've got to say consistent. I think Spidey.
Interesting.
Again, it's mostly a black controller.
Interesting.
I love the symbiote on the right side a whole lot. I'm a sucker for me, Final Fantasy and Concord. I love those kind of intricate designs on there. But that's, I know I could be the odd one out. That's totally fine.
Ghostly Rider just hit me with some deep logic, and this is where I think the Astro controller belongs. And the reason why They say, I can't do white controllers. My hands get too sweaty playing games. Controllers gonna look gross.
Mm.
Sure.
You know? So I think Astro Bot third, then Spider-Man number 2.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I think Astrobot third because again it's more basic. He's really cute and it's probably gonna be super cute when you're playing with it, but more basic.
Yeah.
But I think it's just because I'm a fan of the game and I haven't played the other two, but Spidey is my number 1. I like that it's simple but still dynamic, if that makes sense. Like it's still interesting on the eye, but it's not overwhelming. Like the Final Fantasy one is cool, but there's just a lot going on.
Don't be wrong. Get it wrong. I love this thing, but I don't know.
Although Concord, well, I don't know because Concord's is really cool too. I like the colors on Concords.
Really despise for all of these. Granted, I don't know what it looks like for the Astro, but like. I hate that it just stops halfway through. Like, why isn't the back also red on this side?
So that's the thing my brother actually talks about when he was like, he had the controller. He's like, controller's nice when you're looking at it. He's like, but you do have small nitpicks when you're holding it. It's like, there's maybe too much black and not enough red. Because it looks way too much just like a normal black controller with just a Spider-Man emblem.
Yeah.
Like
That's
maybe
true.
if it cut off more at the middle. So I'm with you there, Kyle. I'm with you there. So
Also,
do we place?
This doesn't have the Spider-Man logo on the back, unless mine is rubbed off.
No, it doesn't.
you're
You're right.
Because like I know the Astro Bot has it. I know God of War has it. Like I wonder why there's no logo on the back for this one.
Also, now that I'm looking at it too, I wish the buttons were black on the inside or red on the inside instead of just like the normal gray. Okay, well now I'm nitpicking
it. So I think we're gonna put the Spider-Man controller at number 2 and the Concord controller at number 1. Is this how this works?
Your system is flawed, Joe.
It's very flawed. This doesn't work. I mean, I really do like the Concord controller, but number 1 is crazy.
For me, Final Fantasy is my number 1.
Okay, fair.
That is like a dream controller one day I hope to get. Concord, I would say, would be in second for me because I like the colorway there.
I think I had to see the Final Fantasy in person because again, it's hard to tell. Because for me, it just looked like there's too much going on in the Final Fantasy. But if it doesn't look like that in person, I'm looking at a small picture, right? But I think the reason why we're also drawn to the Concord one is because the colors just pop, and the way they have it makes it. I keep saying depth. That's gonna be my word of the day.
I like it.
There's like a lot of depth to it because it like gives you that forced perspective, right? Like you're like zooming in. So I think it just makes it's simple, but it's just snappy.
Yep. No, I 100%. I think you actually took the words out of my mouth. Like the patterns, it flows into one continuous thing. Yeah, you got the depth there. Yeah, I like it. Okay, I'm okay with this.
I kind of wish again, like the sacred symbol buttons were a different color too on that one.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like they're. Here's the thing about the designs. At the end of the day, I still think they're penny pinching a little bit. Like, here's what the cost-effective thing is. Give us a little pizzazz.
Yeah.
Because I still think, like, the Xbox controllers, they just put out a new one. It's like see-through blue. I'm like, that's so cool, dude. Like, that's the coolest thing ever.
Well, the Xbox controllers are making me angry though because they keep doing the ones where they're like, "Oh, you can only get this if you win this thing," or you like. I'm like, "No, let me buy it. I want to give you my money. Let me buy. Like, I want the Deadpool with the booty. Let me buy that."
I want all the X-Men '97 ones.
Yeah,
Yes.
They're not available to purchase anywhere. I would love to have that whole lineup.
Yeah.
Agreed. I want
Losing out on money.
But,
Yeah.
Their hardware sales were down. Why are you not selling these controllers?
Yes. Xbox, we're saying that you're leaving money on the table. PlayStation, we're saying up your game, man, because it's just not enough right now. That's it, Kyle. Okay, we had a lot of fun rating these controllers, and I love them all. That said, the next story is a bit of a bummer. So take it away. I'm going to try to find the Final Fantasy one as well to show. Take it away, Kyle.
Jordan Midler over at VGC writes, Bungie to lay off over 200 staff as it forms new studio within PlayStation. In a letter published on Wednesday, the Destiny creator cited, quote, rising costs of development and industry shifts for what it called some of the most difficult changes the studio has had to make. In the letter, the company announced 2 major changes to the structure of the developer going forward. Quote, First, we are deepening our integration with Sony Interactive Entertainment, working to integrate 155 of our roles, roughly 12%, into SIE over the next few quarters, wrote Pete Parsons, CEO of Bungie. SIE has worked tirelessly with us to identify roles for as many of our people as possible, enabling us together to save a great deal of talent that would otherwise have been affected by the reduction in force, end quote. The letter also announced that the studio is working on a new sci-fi action game within PlayStation Studios. Quote, second, we are working with PlayStation Studios leadership to spin out one of our incubation projects, an action game set in a brand new science fantasy universe, to form a new studio within PlayStation Studios to continue its promising development, end quote. The PlayStation maker purchased Bungie in 2022. Quote, for everyone affected by this job reduction, we'll be offering a generous exit package, including severance, bonus, and health coverage, the letter reads. The letter concluded by reassuring fans that its planned marathon reboot is still in development, and that over 800 developers are still working on it and the Destiny franchise.
It's heartbreaking, man. Heartbreaking.
We
have also some updates from Jeff Grubb, friend of the show, but also coward of the show because he won't show up here. You know, come on, Jeff, come on. Herman Hulse says, he tweets, Herman Hulse runs Bungie now. Also, they attempted to soften the blow by sending many people from Bungie into SIE instead of just cutting them. I thought the number of jobs was going to be closer to 350. I'll put it as far as I know, which isn't everything, by a long shot. In time, Bungie will lose its autonomy and will become like another PlayStation Worldwide studio under SIE and Herman Hulst. And by in time, I mean just that this is a process that is starting now, but it is happening. I'll talk about this more on his show tomorrow. I think we can suss out the answers to most of the questions that people have. Also, I bet we'll get some more reporting by then as well. Got a lot of people just saying like, so I found out today by this post. I found out by the trending tab, clicking on it, and then, trying to log into my account, my work account at Bungie, and can't get in. Meanwhile, Pete Parsons, the head over at Bungie, has protected his tweets. So you can't talk to him, air out your grievances. We got another report from someone saying, yeah, just 2 days ago, Pete was bragging about some of the cars he just bought.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm laid off.
Mm-hmm.
So this is awful.
Yep.
Like we were talking pre-show, and you're like, what can we say other than when is this going to stop?
I always wonder what is the floor, right? So I've talked about before how I used to be a teacher, and when I was hired at the district I was at, they were like, we've reached the floor of the amount of teachers that we can have, because I was trying to get hired during the time when a bunch of teachers were getting laid off and we were in a crisis in education, right? So one of my big concerns was, if I get hired here, are you going to lay me off in a year or 2 years? And they're like, this is as low as we can go. So what is as low as we can go in the gaming industry? Because at what point are we not able to create games that are actually playable or enjoyable because we've let everybody go who can work on them? And I feel like we have to be getting close because it's just, the numbers are insane.
Yeah. So my brother's a teacher, and he went through something very similar where, it was even a vice principal, and he's just like, well, what's where, no one is safe, literally ever. And you're getting rid of people as they're right about to get tenured. Are you kidding me? It's just, and so to bring that there is something I relate to. And you're right. Where's the ceiling for this? It's the easy answer is capitalism, and the market's too big, so it needs to shrink. It's people are walking into this field now that just got out of college or technical school, and they're going up against people that have 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 senior writer that wrote on the latest DLC, all looking for jobs in this industry. It's just sad that that's the answer, right? And it's to me, it's like, it just feels shitty. It's just like, that's the answer. And I don't like it in the slightest, is that like some people will have to look into other industries. And we often hear about the crunch, the, burnout of these developers. And when you see this news, you can't help but to get that, kind of survivor's guilt. I don't know, Kyle, I want to bring you into this because it sounds, up, but you celebrated a year in this industry, right? As PR. So when you see this news, how does it feel for you? Do you get that survivor's guilt?
1,000,000%. And it's a little bit of like, before I started working in games PR, I did get laid off from my job. Just unceremoniously. It was a random, I don't know, Wednesday, Tuesday, or whatever it was. And they brought me up after a full day of work and were like, we don't need you anymore. We love you. We like what you do, but we can't have you here anymore. And just like that, everything was gone in an instant. So I'm still recuperating from that feeling. I still work every single day with the feeling of like it could be gone in an instant, which is a scary thought. And I shouldn't think that way, but it's so easy to, and it's hard to kind of block that out. So whenever I hear about these layoffs or read about them, that is exactly where my mind goes, is all these people having similar thoughts of everything's gone in an instant. What do I do? How do I survive? How long till I get picked up elsewhere? Or do I have to switch careers? Because at this point, this is my third career switch. Like, I also was a former teacher and a substitute that was told 1,000,000 times that they would not hire me for a full-time role because then they would be losing me as a sub, and that ass backwards kind of thinking. It's a lot. And I wouldn't say least favorite part of this whole thing, but people losing their jobs is my least favorite part. But I hate that they sneak in, oh, by the way, we're making something new. Like, it instantly takes away the impact of you laid off 200 people. 200 plus people. Oh, by the way, we're making something a brand new game in a fantasy setting. Like, do that at a different time. The focus should be on the people that just lost their jobs. And maybe that's just me being too empathetic or whatnot, but I know it's probably business as usual for a lot of these people, how they do it, but it just kind of like what we love and what I love doing in the games industry and podcasting 6-1 or here is I want to champion the people behind them, not so much the projects, but the sacrifices the people made to make those things, and to just kind of undermine the loss of 200 people's livelihood at once is like, I don't like it at all.
Yeah. Liana Rupert, who was one of their community managers that suffered in the first wave of layoffs, who is terrific. She, quote tweeted with this announcement, "Step down, Pete. You're a liar, a thief, and so many things we can't discuss publicly." In caps, step down, and without the giant Sony payout. This isn't on Sony. This is squarely on the failure of leadership, plain and simple. And listen, I'm not here to give like Sony the bailout here when I say this. Trust me, because they are the ones that say at the end of the day, hey, something's got to give. When you are Bungie and you make bets and you're the leadership, and you saw, I think they were like, it was like a 50% decrease in sales. I think 40 or 50% decrease in sales, month over month. Something that was so close to them being completely absorbed in Sony as to one of their clauses. It does go to show that, I would say, like, here's the light at the end of the tunnel, but like his leadership, if it wasn't for this buyout, would have been 1,000 plus people just out on the street while he's out there driving a Maserati or whatever the new fancy car he just bought was. It just really pisses me off that these people are the ones making the mistakes. They are the ones taking the shots, and you can make the argument taking the risks. Well, when the risks don't pay off, well, then you have to take responsibility. And I'm not saying, hey, you get to earn $0, 0 cents, right? The famous Awada thing. I'm not saying that, like, the perfect world scenario is you take the big pay cut and that means everybody gets to keep their job. That's not realistic. But at least you can take the blame, maybe step aside, maybe have an open forum where you are, you know, laying out the groundwork of like, hey, here's how we're gonna get back on track. Have like an all hands on meeting. Instead, locking your social media so that no one could call you a piece of shit. Sorry, I didn't get to bleep it, but like, you're a coward. You're just a cowardly person.
I
And
apologize for laughing during this very well said thing,
yeah,
but
go for it.
Dewani in chat says something's got to give.
Dewani, you son of a gun, bringing us back.
Light in the mood there.
Yeah, but thank you, much needed. But like, yeah, I would love to, in all seriousness, like I would love to talk to someone like Liana, about this. So Liana, if you're watching, you're welcome to, literally the floor is yours. Next week on the show, you want to talk about, what's happening within, the parameters of which you're allowed to. Please, you're welcome here anytime. Because yeah, this is messed up. That said, as well, yes, you're right. It looks like a new studio within SIE being spin off, which is where some of the folks are going to. It draws inspiration from fighting games, platformers, MOBAs, life sims, and frog type games. Who knows what that means? Wrapped in a lighthearted comedic world, the team is designed for depth, mastery, and Bungie's signature action feel, as well as a friendly, inclusive community that will piss off the folks that live in their basements when they says that. Anyway, it is cool that they are trying to, or at least the attempt to save as many jobs as they can and spin them off. It sucks that like, I mean, like you seem like you got the Xbox limited edition controller over there. You might enjoy a Microsoft game from time to time. I remember Halo and how much I love Halo and how much Bungie introduced me to not just the Master Chief, but really expanded my love of games. It just feels like, man, I'm just losing them. And it sucks, it's, and I get it. They're not the same team, but it's just, I don't know.
To have people find out through social media, you don't even have the decency to contact your employees and say, hey, listen, this was really hard, but unfortunately we have to let you go for XYZ reasons. You can't log on, or you find out on social media. Like, are you like, that's really what ruffles my feathers, because it's horrible enough that you have to let this many people go, but then you don't even have the decency to tell them before they find out through their peers or through the fact that they're trying to log in for work and they can't. Like, that is just, there has to be a better way, and you cannot tell me there isn't. That's just ridiculous. There's no excuse for that, and that's really frustrating. And I'm not even in the industry on that side, so it's like,
yeah. Someone replied to something like that to my post, and I'm like, I just gave him a picture of a Sarlacc pit. Like, the Sarlacc pit demands the 1%, because like that's how I feel right now. Pete Parsons deserves to be thrown in that Sarlacc pit with, what's his name, Dengar. That could be his best friend for 1,000 years. That's Star Wars lore right there. Nisa Howard writes in the chat, hey guys, guys on the XEP Discord were saying that the leadership of Bungie has been messing up since they spun from Xbox. That's the other thing. Bungie's relationship with Xbox was always kind of like strenuous, to say the least. But Pete, just step down, man. You're not the guy, for that gift. It's like, you're not that guy. All right, Pete, go step aside, for the love of God. All right, I'm sorry. Anything else anyone would like to add? And then we
just hope everyone that did not get relocated lands on their feet quicker, sooner than later. And excited to see all the creative juices that flow from this, and hope you make some really rad things.
Yep. All right, Kyle. Here's a little bit of news. Should have been flash news, but take it away.
Zermina Khan over at PS Lifestyle writes, PSVR 2 sales reportedly skyrocketed after price cut. Huh, you don't say. PSVR 2 sales have apparently skyrocketed after this week's steep price cut. Sony is offering prospective buyers a $200 discount on both the PSVR 2 Core and Horizon Call of the Duty Call of the Mountain bundles. The headset is already sold out at a number of online stores and retailers. Folks over at the Shortcut have managed to get their hands on exclusive retailer data in the US and report that PSVR 2 sales saw a massive uptick of 2,350% over a 24-hour period after the discount went live. Many have theorized that PSVR 2's slow adoption rate was down to the headset's heavy price tag, as well as a lack of compelling games in its library. It certainly doesn't help that PSVR 2 isn't backwards compatible with the original PSVR. Sony has resolved at least two of those problems for the time being, albeit temporary. The price cut has worked. And with upcoming PC support scheduled to go live in August, the issue of PSVR 2's limited library will also be addressed.
Ray X writes in chat, see, it's alive, Joe. Listen, I'm glad the price cut has helped. I don't know about y'all though. I feel like this is not them saying, "Oh, look it, we're going to try to sell these with the software will boost, it'll help the damage." To me, it feels like this is clearance. I don't know.
I think it's more aligns with the PC compatibility thing that's coming out. I just feel like it's just another headset option for those that want to do VR. If they find out that you can use PSVR 2, although you need the adapter, which I don't even know when that goes live, and if it's through PS Direct, because then I'm screwed.
It is. Mid-August. Or is it next week? One of the two.
One of the two.
It's like $60. Yeah.
I feel like it's more towards that way and not just let's get them off the shelves just to get them out and done with.
Fair enough.
But that's just a copium, maybe? I don't know.
No, it definitely is copium. I don't believe a word you just said. Like, what about you? Are you a VR believer? Are you a VR head? Never experienced it? Throw up if you put it on? What do you...
I did have the MetaQuest 2 because I did a couple of campaigns with them when Resident Evil 4 came out for the MetaQuest.
Nice.
And I enjoyed it, but I was very, very pregnant. And playing VR Resident Evil when you're about to burst was just not great.
Yeah.
And I haven't tried it since because it was just not great at that point. So I haven't really been huge into VR, but also the price point kept me from getting into it because I'm like, I know realistically I'm not going to play a ton. So do I want to put that much money into something that I'll open up like maybe 4 times a year if I have people over or, so maybe if they had more of a library, I would. But to me, this screams that clearly everyone thought it was overpriced because if it went up 2,000% because they lowered the price, like clearly you did not price that correctly.
Nope. Yeah.
So,
I mean, $550 is just...
It's too much.
Same price with PS5 almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's still a great piece of tech. I really enjoy it. I saw some of like the Alien stuff that they're gonna have. I'm a much of a sadist and Alien fan, so I'm gonna be getting that day one. But like, yeah, no, this is what you should have priced it at. You should have priced it at a loss from the get, and it's good that more people are getting it. I just I'm just still skeptical.
Sure.
But there is something that I'm not very skeptical about. And it's the reason why Light is here. We finally get to talk about Star Wars Outlaws. Kyle, there are questions. The whole week's questions revolve around this game. So you get to lead the conversation here.
Ooh,
Kyle.
Okay.
So I just want to say Ubisoft gave us this opportunity to play Star Wars Outlaws, and we can finally talk about it. We both each played 4 hours of it, and yeah, Kyle, what's some questions you got here?
Sure. At what point do the Klingons come and Spock joins you on the journey?
And do you maybe think this is why you weren't invited?
Wait, if the Klingons and Spock are coming, can Teal'c and Captain Carter come too from Stargate?
There you go.
I hate all of this.
Get all the stars. Get all the stars in there.
And I think Cylons are a thing, right? Is that
Battlestar?
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, you're hurting me.
Right off the bat, like why I'm excited for this, and I want you guys to hopefully affirm or confirm that feeling for me is this has nothing to do with Jedi. You're a scoundrel. You're an outlaw. That's what I'm looking for in the Star Wars game. Because, frankly, I'm kind of tired of using the Force. I'm sorry. Controversial, I know.
Yeah.
But like, how does it feel being a scoundrel like Kay with Nyx? I saw a little bit of gameplay from other people that played, but
yeah,
how is it more stealthy? Is it more actiony?
that is a great question. Like, how about you
I know
take
there was
it
a lot
away.
of questions at once, so
Yeah.
I apologize.
Also, Poseidon's upset because it just started downpouring right now. So if you hear that, that's the rain. I apologize.
That's because we were talking about the wrong stars. Poseidon's like,
exactly.
no. So I was actually surprised at the amount of stealth. I found myself choosing to use stealth a lot, and the demoist who was with me said that that's kind of how they were picturing the game and how they were most like they suggested you play the game was trying to focus on stealth first. And I really thought the stealth was great and much more enjoyable than I would have thought. But there were segments where it was stealth, but then segments where it's just like free for all, running around, shooting, and you can choose how you want to do it. It really is up to your discretion. I just personally found it easier to try to stealth as much as I could. And then, when I was inevitably spotted because I'm bad at stealth, then I could get into the shootout. So that's kind of how I structured it. And I had a lot of fun trying to find like the back paths into places because they talked about the different factions and stuff. They've talked about that before. But there would be things where you needed to get into a faction stronghold. But if that faction didn't like you, you can't walk in through the front door. So you had to find back paths or vents or things like that to get into that section. And then you have to stealth through that whole section. Or you can do things to make them like you and go off and do side things to make them like you. And then you can walk in the front door. So I just thought it was really cool because they gave you the option. Do you want to go in guns blazing head on or do you want to stealth it? And I just found myself kind of leaning in towards the stealth more.
Yeah, Kyle, you're gonna really like this. It very much feels like, and I said this during the preview guy, and they were like, "We can't say that," but I'm glad you picked up on it. I felt like this game is the perfect handshake between Splinter Cell and Uncharted or like Red Dead Redemption in terms of like how like the gunfights feel like.
Cool.
Stealth plays a huge component. I couldn't agree more. Like from like tall grass to like darkness, you're really stealthing your way through and distracting enemies with Nyx is a whole lot of fun. It felt like instead of every room's a shooting gallery, it's like, hey, how do I get from point A to point B without getting noticed? So it's like, how do I get to maneuver around freely? And the one really cool thing with Nyx in particular is that they feel like they're an extension of K rather than it's just the thing that fetches guns, which it does, and it's great. And Nyx is a good little boy, but like he can distract guards, he can attack them, which gives you time to like, if you time it correctly, if Nyx attacks one guard, you can run up to the other one and just punch him in the face. Every animation, by the way, every takedown animation, chef's kiss. Fantastic. And then you can run over and beat the other guard up as well. Nyx also does this thing in combat, which is the coolest thing ever. And it makes people alert to you, but damn, it's flashy and fun, which is you can set off grenades, thermal detonators in Star Wars. You can set off people's thermal detonators, and they'll be like, oh, what the hell? And then bam.
I didn't do that one time. That's so cool.
Oh, I did it as many times as I could. I was very sadistic.
Just to add on to it, because I feel like this is a good point to ask. K starts with a blaster, I assume.
Yep.
Are there other weapons you pick up and use, or is it just spur of the moment? Like if an enemy drops it, then you can pick it up and use it, kind of thing.
Yeah. You could pick up like, like they call it E11. That's the stormtrooper gun. And then like, so you could like, you'll pick up some guns. They have, they're way more powerful than your blaster, at least early on. But they have like 5 or 6 shots, so it's meant to like toss it away. That's where it felt Uncharted like for me.
Okay.
Where it's like, okay, I'm done with this magazine. I'm gonna throw it away.
Cool.
How did you feel about like the because Robot Rock and Arsh writes over on Twitter, for full disclosure, how's the shooting? How did it feel? Like, how did you feel about the shooting mechanics in it?
Better than I expected. But I definitely need to get used to them. So I think part of the problem was I think I needed to adjust the sensitivity. Thank you. I want to say touchiness. I was like, that is not the right word. I needed to adjust the sensitivity.
We should use that more. The touchiness of the controller. Yeah.
The touchiness needed to be adjusted.
Lower the touchiness slider in the settings.
So I think I need to I don't typically do this, but I think this is a game where I actually need to play with the sensitivity to see what's best for me. But it felt better than I was expecting. I was a little worried when I was watching it that when a couple months ago, I had seen, like, I was able to watch some gameplay, like 20 or 30 minutes worth. And it looked like they were like missing a lot of shots and it just looked a little clunky. So I was definitely worried going into it, but it felt a lot better than I thought. And I think when I get used to it and when I can tweak it to what fits best with me, it will feel better, because I was noticing by the end of the 4 hours, I was much better than I was at the beginning. So I think it just feels different than the typical shooting games I play, and I don't play a lot. So it's like my comparison is like GTA or Red Dead. So it's like, you know.
And it very much feels like that though. Like I would say like it feels really, it does feel very like Grand Theft Auto-esque or like Red Dead-esque, where it's like, it's really about tilting the cursor up a little bit so you get that perfect headshot on them.
A lock and flick.
Yep, the lock and flick. And like that feels super rewarding when you get to pull that off. Yeah, the shooting is like, it's not meant for, you are meant to miss, if that makes sense. It's not like difficult, but it's not absolutely precise, because they really want you to mix and match with like the stealth. They really want you to use nicks. They don't want you to just be super proficient in this one thing so you never have to do it again. They want you to really, again, mix and match the different types of abilities that you have. That said, my headset's right about to run out of battery, so Kyle, if you want to hit the next point.
I see it's blinking.
I charge this bad. Yeah, it's yelling at me. I got a whole lot of boops and beeps.
You brought up the Uncharted comparison. How's Kay hand-to-hand combat? Can she hold her own, or is it like, does the hand-to-hand combat only stay with stealth kind of stuff?
I personally really only used it in the stealth, but I did get a couple scenes, I think, where I got into like melee hand-to-hand, and it felt good. Sweet. And it was satisfying. Cool. But it mostly, for me, it was mostly like, oh shoot, I tried to stealth this person and he turned around and saw me, so now I'm gonna punch you in the face. Gotcha. It's kind of when I mostly got into it. Or there was a lot of times, like going back to using Nyx, I would send Nyx out, and there was this one room I was trying to stealth, but there was like, I thought I had one person, but there's actually 3 people, and I didn't see the other 2. So I had sent Nyx out, and then I saw the other 2, so I also attacked the person that Nyx was attacking, and that was really cool because they worked really seamlessly together with that. So again, you probably can use melee and hand-to-hand a lot more than I did, but that kind of wasn't what I focused on. But going back with the weapons, your blaster has 3 different modes. So you have like the disposable guns that you can pick up and use a couple times. But then you also have 3 different modes on your blaster. So if there's somebody like a heavy enemy, you can use the one bullet that you use at one time, or the one shot you use at one time that has a really long cooldown. Or if you're fighting android or droids, then you can change it to the like electrical version, and it like stuns them for a little while. So they really do, like, even mid shootout, they want you to switch between the type of blaster you're using, or like that sort of thing as well. So I really didn't have to do hand-to-hand a ton, because I was constantly like, oh, now I'm going to use this. Oh, now I'm going to use that.
Most of the time when I'm meleeing people, it is for the stealth purposes. And every time, like, Kay does something really cool. Like, there's a lot of animations, at least like 5 or 6 that are like, oh, goddamn, that guy is paralyzed. Like, that guy has severe neck pain.
You brought up Nyx, like,
yes.
How does, like, the video that I watched, I saw Kay like use Nyx to distract guards or grab an item like behind the counter or whatever. Does Nyx join you in combat as well and help out?
Yes, but again, it's more like you're sending Nyx to do stuff.
Got it. Okay.
And so like, it really is like, go blow them up with grenades, go distract them, go attack them, which really just buys you time. He works as a good little like crowd control mechanic.
Okay.
And like fetch you weapons
Cool.
as well. At least that early on. He does have a cooldown on certain abilities, but it's not that bad. So it's, again, they don't want you just to keep spamming Nyx for every single thing. But it's not like punishing.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Before I get into other forms of combat, because I saw a speeder that I want to talk about. Kildane writes in, I see a lot of people jump to Assassin's Creed and Far Cry since this is Ubisoft, but this is the team that did both Division games and Avatar. What did you feel was the closest comparison, or does it depart from other formulas? I'm seeing all different kinds of opinions, but combat seems to be the most consistent gripe. What was your take on both space and ground combat?
Good question. This is where I think...
And to add to that, just... does it do the Ubisoft thing? Are we clearing towers to unlock maps? Or
I can't speak too much on the maps. They won't allow it. So
okay, cool.
I will say though, this doesn't feel like Assassin's Creed or Far Cry that much. This very much feels like there was one that I really agreed up with. It felt like Red Dead. The world feels like it exists without you being the player, without your agency. And I think that's, it speaks like, for example, there was one time I was just riding with my speeder and I saw just a shootout of like a couple of imps. That's shorthand for Imperials. I don't know if you know that. Introduced in Star Wars Rebels. I let the Ubisoft guy know that too. Anyway, so
you were that guy during the demo.
Well, because he's like,
he
goes, "Oh, imps means." I go, no, don't worry. It's season 1, episode 3. Rebels, anyway.
Time code 3 minutes 23 seconds.
Exactly. But like you just see like this one cartel fight one of the like a squad of Imperials, and you could choose like, and it's also like. It just happened to be part of my side mission. And I was like, do I want to go in here and like shoot them up? Can I just, they're so preoccupied. I could just tiptoe and get the stuff. So like the open world aesthetic doesn't feel like an Ubisoft game. I don't like, did you feel the same there?
Yeah. So I didn't really play much of it, but the open world reminded me mostly of their new Avatar game. Like you can tell when they're doing their open world stuff, they are trying to do something new. And the open world of those two felt the most similar to me compared to any of their other games. But exactly like you said, this world is existing and we're just also existing in it. I had a very similar situation where I was riding on my speeder and all of a sudden I hear a shootout and I heard the imps say, "Oh, they're over here." And they all stopped at this like crashed ship or something. And there was people who were smuggling goods. It was like smugglers or pirates or something. And they were fighting each other. And then Kay made a comment like, I wonder if they have anything valuable. So I stealthed up and they were killing each other and I just took all their stuff and then I left. And then they were still killing each other and they had no idea I was there. And then there's one time there was a creature running around in the world that ran up to some stormtroopers that were defending this thing. And the stormtroopers started shooting at it. And I was so distracted that I like ran into the creature and ejected myself off of my speeder. And then they started shooting at me because they thought I was also attacking that. And it just, so it was this world that I'm just existing in. And that in that aspect is very much like a Red Dead where, you are actually just living in this world that's doing its own thing.
How did you feel about the speeder combat to go to the second point of Kildane? Because I didn't like the speeder combat.
I would get off my speeder every time someone started shooting me because I did not know what I was doing. I had no idea. I was like, I can't shoot. I can't figure this out. So I would just get off.
It felt like, I don't know if you'd agree. It felt like the Deadeye system in Red Dead. Mm-hmm. It was like, look around, but it's like the speeder's so fast that even when I'm like going in slow-mo, it's not enough. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't feel like it was all too satisfying of a fight. It just felt like lock on, shoot them, they're gonna zigzag and crash.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest complaint of what I saw. And I think somebody in chat on YouTube said, I think the nerd chat said, like, what's your biggest critique? I think that would probably be my biggest critique. I didn't love how the speeder felt. The speeder was cool, and there were like the things you saw when you were on your speeder zipping around were cool, but I'm notoriously bad at vehicles anyways. And I was struggling. I don't know if it just wasn't as responsive as I wanted it to be, which, might be realistic in real life, but or
if you
or
get
if I just
touchiness slider just right,
yeah, I just needed that touchiness slider again, or if it's because you're not getting all of the tutorials, right? Because they give you segments, but you're kind of just like jumping in there. So maybe if I had started from the very beginning and had more of a tutorial, I don't know. But anytime someone shoot at me, I would either try to like smash into them with my speeder, or I would stop, get off, and then shoot them all, and then get back on and drive, because I struggled. And I don't know if that's a me problem or if that's something that I just didn't. Well. Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's an us problem for sure.
Did space combat feel the same way? Was it kind of, or
this is what I've been dying to talk about.
Okay.
This is what I've been dying to talk about. This moment was like my favorite moment, because he's trying, like, God bless the Ubisoft person. We all had like a person that helps guide us, and they were just like, oh, so we're talking about a few minutes before it happens, and I'm like, is this kind of like TIE Fighter versus or X-wing versus TIE Fighter, or like Rogue Squadron vibes? He's like, I was not born before those games came out, so I don't know. I'm like, Zoomer, like these Gen Zers, I can't stand them. But I got in the air, and as they're just like describing it, they just stopped, because they like, oh, he knows what he's doing. If you like Rogue Squadron, guess what? They put Rogue Squadron in this game. Is it a little bit more simplified? Sure. But the same premise of like how those dogfights work are the same premise in this game. So like you're leading the targets, you got like missiles that you need to lock on with. I love those games so much, and I wish they came back. If this is the closest thing that I get, I am content. I really, really liked the space combat. It's kind of also like what I wanted from Starfield in terms of like how that space combat worked. I felt like it felt like its own like standalone game. It could have been. I really liked it. What about you, Light?
I enjoyed it, but the space combat isn't what I particularly love to do, which is ironic, because I always say on my channel, and the people who came from my channel are going to be like, oh my gosh, you say this all the time. One of the first games I remember playing by myself was, I think, Rogue Squadron. Is that the one where you're in the TIE Fighter and you have the zippy thing and you're like going around the AT-AT and you have to like get the legs?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay, that's what I remember.
No, that's sorry, that is Shadow of the Empire.
Okay, well, that's the one that I remember playing.
64, right?
That specific was on PC.
Oh, then you know what? You're right. You're right.
Okay.
That's Rogue Squadron.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always forget the name of it, but then when people are talking about Rogue Squadron, I'm like, oh, memory. Like that, it's that one level I remember. But anyways, so I agree. Like it did kind of feel like that. It felt like a simpler version of Starfield. Like you had less to worry about. But because of that, it felt nicer. Sure. I didn't have to like worry about adjusting my shield levels and my thruster levels and all that. Like I was just shooting and flying, and I did enjoy that a lot. It felt smooth. It felt nice. I think a little bit simpler, but I think that's okay.
Sure.
Also, those vehicles, Kyle, that she's talking to, they're talking about. They're called air speeders.
Cool.
I just want to mansplain it to you.
Thanks.
They're
I
called air
appreciate
speeders.
that. I appreciate that.
Because prior to Disney buying Star Wars, those were the only ships that can fly in the air. But then after Force Awakens, they're like, no, X-Wings could go interplanetary fights as well.
Sure.
Which everybody was mad at, but I was like, who cares? I get to see X-Wings in Force.
You're telling me that the creative people who created Star Wars said, oh man, you know what we can call that thing? That's kind of like a speeder on the ground, just an air speeder. Yep. They could have come up with a better name than air speeder.
Yep.
Right. Speaking of
the only thing I will be upset about though is they call Slave One now like this fire spray or Boba Fett's ship.
Okay.
It's like, no, it's called Slave One. He's not a good dude. He takes Han, against his will to Jabba. It's Slave One. He's not a good dude, and it's a cool name. Yeah.
Speaking of the spaceships and space combat and being in space, before we talk about more of like the level design on the planets, M9 Prime writes in, can you go between planets like No Man's Sky? Like, can you fly in between the nearby planets and it's seamless, or?
No.
Yeah, okay.
That was something I was a little bummed out by. But like, I want to know what you think here. When you're going to the planets, because you and I both played Starfield, um, we're and like, yeah, I'm a little bummed out that like I don't get to break through the atmosphere myself. Did you at least like that more than like the loading screen of Starfield, where it's just like here's an image and a help like guide, like a little tip, because like you get to see yourself break through the atmosphere
Mhm.
and like land. I don't know.
Yeah,
Did you like that
it.
more?
I did like it more because it felt like you were still landing yourself, even though you weren't. Like a little icon pops up, and then you select like where you want to land, and then it takes over for you. But it still shows you going down. It's almost like in God of War when it's the loading screen when he's like going through the little rocks, right? It's a loading screen, but it's a cool loading screen, so I don't mind.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
I'm into that. Um, you mentioned before, like going through when you're stealthing. There's many different paths or like trying to get to the end point. There's different routes you can take.
Yeah.
Is that specifically for like those little hideouts, or is the whole world kind of laid out that way? How is the open world feel empty when you're on the speeder, or is there like a whole lot to do?
No, actually, me and the Ubisoft guy were finding out new things. That was like the really cool thing. They're like, "Oh, I'm like, can I go up here? Like, I don't want to waste time." He's like, "I actually don't know," and I'm like, "All right, let's go." He's like, "You'd be the first to find out," and we did, and like we found a new way how to infiltrate the base. So
That's awesome.
I would say just through like those small examples, yeah, there's a lot of variety.
Okay.
I don't know. What say you like?
Yeah, I didn't do enough of that in order to say like, oh yeah, I think pretty much most places there's gonna be multiple forms of entry. But from what I did, I would say so that there's
Okay.
probably a bunch of different ways, like how I do it versus how you do it versus how you do it is all gonna be different. But I will say I was overwhelmed with how much there was to do in the open world. Like not in a bad way, but because I didn't really know how much time I had or what I could do in that versus what I couldn't, there was always something popping up like, oh wait, I could go do, oh wait, I could go and talk about our ADHD earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I this is a game, and I told my husband after, I was like, this is one of those games that's gonna be dangerous because we're gonna be lost in it. Like we are not gonna do the main thing for like way too long, and we're just gonna be lost because there's like little things that pop up, those those encounters we talked about. There's a bunch of side missions, and if you do this side mission, it can give you different side missions because it helps XYZ faction, or this faction now hates you. One of the factions was mad at me, and I kept riding through their turf, and every time I did that, it was a chase sequence, fight sequence, but they had things that I could have done in their turf that I couldn't do because that faction hated me. So it's like, okay, well now what can I do to make that faction like me so I can go do that stuff in there, So there was a lot in just the small area that I was able to explore because I kept getting yelled at. The screen kept being like, return to the game zone. And I'm like, oh, sorry. So
I'm gonna also like this. Yeah, no, to echo your point, player choice is huge in this game. And I really want to give a shout out. It's actually one of the bullet points here that I wanted to put for myself because I feel like what this game does so right to me seems so little, but in the grand scheme, it does so much, which is the reputation system. This isn't like a normal game where it's like, yeah, just max out. Everybody's here to love
It's
you.
not
And you
like
get
a Mass Effect Paragon Renegade kind of thing.
Nope. It's like, hey, backstab whoever you feel like will, hurt your chances of like survival. It's very much like, hey, you could gain this person's trust and maybe they give you this cool thing, but then you'll lose out on, an area in the game, and you fix that rather quickly because every mission it's like you're backstabbing someone else. So like, for example, the first mission of the game, you're helping the Pike Syndicate and you need to steal something for the Pike Syndicate, and you can either bribe the main dude and get him to trust you, or you can give it to them in good faith and earn their favor that way. And then if you do that and you earn their favor, they'll trust you a little bit. And ironically enough, the next mission, I needed to steal something from the Pike Syndicate. So I was able to go deep into their hangout, into their lair, and smooth criminal my way in and take take the goodies and just get on out of there without them knowing. And then I had this another option of like, hey, do I give what I just stole to the person, right here, the Crimson Dawn person, or do I keep it to myself and the Pikes still like me? Like, you got to really choose what you wanted to do, and that outcome, whatever you choose, doesn't just affect the world around you, but it seems like it also affects the level that you play. So, for example, I always pissed off the Crimson Dawn because they were the bad guys in solo. And so I was like, I don't like you guys to begin with. But because of that, the last level, it was all about the Crimson Dawn. And so they really didn't like me, which means I have to find a way into their inner sanctum without them finding out. Right. And so like I had multiple ways of going in there, like finding a hidden vent, or like, getting through a special like locked gate, which I'll talk about those gates in a second. But like there was just multiple ways of how to interact with the world based on my choices. And it's fluid of like, it's really meant to be, 1 minute they love you, 1 minute they want to shoot you in the back because you're a scoundrel at the end of the day. So you're really making Kay who you would be, as a scoundrel.
There's a lot of strategy to it. And like you said, you're constantly bouncing back and forth. Like, okay, this faction likes me, this faction hates me, this faction is like neutral, so be careful. But from what I can tell, it seems like certain cities are controlled mostly by certain factions. Yep. So, you want to get that into that faction's good graces, but you don't want to piss the other ones off too much because then you might screw yourself when you go back to that other planet. So for me with the Crimson Dawn, I gave them information and I screwed over the Pikes because I was like, I think I'm done with the Pikes. I think I'm pretty much good there. So I gave them the information. So then we went to the next planet we were allowed to go to. The Crimson Dawn were like, oh, hey, that's okay. Like, they just let me walk through the front gates. And it took, a little bit of that stress off. There are still zones within there that are off limits to you. So you still are forced to do like a little bit of stealth or combat. But again, it forces you to be careful and think about how you want to play it, because if you just go shooting those people, now that faction's not going to like you anymore. So you really are trying to be careful, because if you get spotted, now that faction distrusts you and they're kicking you out and your reputation drops a bit. So I thought it was really interesting how there's a lot of strategy to how you want to play the factions off each other and your reputation within them. Yeah.
And I would say, because I didn't have it here on the notes, the only thing I don't like are the little mini games in terms of like how you open up the gate is like, here's Sudoku. Akin to like how if you ever played Cyberpunk 2077, the little like weird number puzzles, it's like the same thing here. Didn't really like them. It's a big guessing game to me. Like, if you don't know, I hate puzzles, and I'm dumb as a bag of rocks. If you couldn't tell already. So it's like when I see a puzzle, I'm like, can I just skip this, please, for the love of God? And then there's a rhythmic puzzle that I will not show the gameplay here.
It's hard.
I was stuck on the first one for 7 minutes.
It's hard. So I loved the one that first one you were talking about. I like attribute it similar to Wordle. It reminds me of Wordle with pictographs. Okay. So like you choose, you have to put 4 in. If it's red, it's not in there. If it's yellow, it's there, but it's the wrong spot. If it's green, you got it right. Yep. So you're like working your way down. And I actually just recently started playing Wordle, so I was like, oh, exciting. And they do a good job of, there are certain things that I don't know if you buy them or you unlock them or what, but there's like perks that will help you. So if you're like really struggling, you can be like, okay, I want to use this perk so it gets rid of 3 of the ones that aren't in there at all, or something along those lines. But that rhythmic lockpick one was hard because there were some accessibility settings with that I might play with, because it might make it just a little bit easier for my brain to comprehend. But it's just an audio cue, so it's like boop, 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 and you're like
to match it.
And you had to like count in your head. So you're like, okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, but you have to get it perfectly. So it's like,
how that could be frustrating.
Some of them I got first try and I felt like a god, and some of them should have been simple, and I was like, I'm just randomly clicking this button because I cannot get this.
I was like, am I going to spend the 4 hours on this goddamn puzzle? And so like those weren't explained that well to me. Not through the guide's fault, but like through the game. So that is something I ding it. But once I got that puzzle down, I was like, okay, now I understand. And it was only like one or two more times where that thing flubbed me up a little bit, but like I could see how that's aggravating for people for sure. Yeah.
We have some
And
other.
then-
Oh, go ahead, Light.
Oh, sorry. There were a couple times where there were gates that were locked that I could have hacked, but I had found a data pad that had information so that I didn't need to hack them. So they really reward you for exploring off the beaten path, reading all the things, like even if you don't want to actually read it, at least like clicking into it to read it. Because there were, in that second place we went, there was 3 gates that I was able to open because I stumbled across a data pad in this random alleyway or in the middle of a mission that was like, oh, hey, we're going to do this drop here. Here's the code. It's my birthday, XYZ, you know? And then when I got to that gate, I was able to open the gate. And it was
Oh damn, I didn't know that. That's cool.
really nice because they would put like a little symbol, like a little question mark. It's like, oh, I found this data pad. Let's go to this question mark because this is where the gate is now. So like,
That's great.
that was nice.
Yeah, before we get into some other questions, this is a total me question and my OCD of how I play these games. Am I going to struggle leaving an area without picking up everything I can in a level, like at a hideout? I like to pick up every valuable, every kind of thing that highlights like you can pick up. That's why like whenever I did play Skyrim for the little amount of time I did, I had every book known to man, and I didn't know what to do with it. I just pick up everything. So like
You weigh 400.
exactly, like why am I moving so slow?
That's me in Baldur's Gate right now.
Exactly.
Yes, I need that femur.
So like in this one, because from what I saw, it seems like there's like valuables all over the place. Did you feel like you had to pick them all up? Is there like a collectibles system in there, or?
Good question.
So my community calls me the loot sloot. Because I'm the same way. If I can pick it up, I need to pick it up, even if I don't need it for any reason. I need that cup and that skull and that ribcage. Like it's hard. And I didn't run into that.
I did the same thing.
I did not run into that with this because I think most of the collectible stuff are either data pads or chests. So I don't think you're just like seeing random things on tables that you can pick up that I recall. I think it's mostly like you can find containers to open, or like a data pad on a shelf, or like sometimes like what did you call the bombs? The grenades.
Oh, thermal detonators.
Thank you. Or the thermal like so occasionally stuff like that. But I don't recall, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall there being like if you walk into this room, there's gonna be like 5 books you can pick up and all this stuff. Like I don't think there really was that. I think it was mostly like find the chests.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not too much of a collectathon.
Okay.
At least from what we gathered.
Because I know from like, you know, Assassin's Creed games and Far Cry and other Ubisoft, there's a whole lot of like collect all these pages to Leonardo da Vinci's designs.
Not as
and all that
much.
stuff. Okay.
Not as much.
Cool.
No.
There were, so I think this was like the level up system. We're allowed to talk about that, right? Like the level, like the okay. So there are like almost like the skill tree, if you will. You have to do an action a certain amount of times in order to unlock a skill. So I was finding myself already being obsessed with like, oh, I only need to melee take down one more person. I want to find, so I was more obsessing over that this time. Cool. Or like, oh, I need to open 5 containers. I need to find 5 containers so I can get that. So that's what I was more so obsessing with, because that was kind of like tickling the OCD of my brain and making it,
I like
happy.
I like that a lot.
Dopamine.
Papa Taz writes in, should the game include a create a character mode? I, for one, have always wanted a Star Wars game where I can go all out and create my own Jedi or bounty hunter. I, for one, am not going to hold it against the game, and I cannot wait to get my hands on Outlaws. So, do you like Kay? Would you prefer to make your own outlaw, or?
No, I love Kay.
Yeah.
I love her personality. I think if this was like a Mandalorian game, like deck out my helmet or whatever. But like, honestly, most of the time when I with the create a character, unless it's Baldur's Gate 3, I feel like the voices aren't as like great as like that one voice that you get to have, which is like Kay's, and like she is likable enough so far for what I've seen, the little I've seen, and like her aesthetic is just cool. Like she just looks cool.
She has swagger.
Like the bomber jacket, like you get to like kit out her bomber jacket to make it look like different, and like her pistol is already on Etsy. Like you can get to deck that out too. Like there's a lot of customization options that deck out Kay to make her look cooler. But you can't just be like, for those 5 people out there that are really upset about her chin, Sorry. You know,
Go away,
Yeah.
those people.
please.
I think for the type of game it is, it only makes sense to have it be the one character that
Yeah.
you're playing as.
Cool.
Absolutely. Oh, and you get to kid out Nyx as well. You get to give him like little hairdos.
Ooh.
Wait, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I gave him little wraps around his little
Oh,
like
that's
tentacle
cool.
ears.
I only went to
Cute
one
son of
shop because I didn't want to waste time shopping, so I didn't.
a- Same. I was like, what's in here? Oh, I got little wraps on him. Yeah.
That's cool.
Cute.
I hope he gets to wear a little suit.
Dor-
Sorry.
Dormon92 writes in, hello all. Greetings from the
Hello.
West Coast. Questions about Star Wars Outlaws. From the short portion of the game that you both played that you probably can't talk in depth about, does the gameplay feel promising enough to spawn sequels or spin-offs? How confident do you feel about it? Any standout performances from characters, just yay or nay? Star Wars usually tries to market a lovable, sellable character, aka Grogu, Pogs, Ewoks, etc. Or Porgs, I think that was supposed to say. Thanks, guys, for the great content. Appreciate you both. By the way, House Slanger for the win. Get out of here, Dormon.
There you go. House Slinger. Let's go.
So, already
yeah.
thinking ahead to sequels and spin-offs. Do we think there's more to Kay's story from what you played? Or can you see a future after whatever this is?
Oof.
It's tough to
I
say,
think future,
probably.
yeah, future tough to say. Did I enjoy my time a lot with it? Absolutely, I did. This is my most anticipated game. Was my game of the show twice in a row. This is one of my dream Star Wars games. I always say. I left it, and now I can say why I've been in a gaming rut. I left in a rut because I want to just play Star Wars Outlaws, and I don't want to get attached to any other game because I'm waiting for Star Wars Outlaws. So, yeah, I really like it. And Nyx is cuter than Porgs, not cuter than Grogu. Ewok, I don't know, when Ewok, they're eating a little cracker. He's you little son of a bitch, you know, like he's got his little spear, you know, he's stabbing a dude in the abdomen. He's great. So I don't know, Ewoks, that's tricky.
I think it really depends on where the story goes, and
Yeah.
we were at the very beginning, so it's
Yep.
like it's hard to tell. I think depending on how they wrote the story, maybe if it makes sense. I think they did a good enough job with the planets and the areas that we saw that if they can continue that, why not? Or
Yeah.
at least a DLC.
Sure.
But I don't know where the story's going to go or where they're planning on the story going, so it kind of all depends on that at this
Yeah.
point, I'd say.
Yeah.
And Grim follows
Yeah,
that
the
up.
levels the levels that they gave us, it's like I couldn't really get a hold of like where this story is. They
Mhm.
did a really good job of like, no idea. I'm just helping Fish Boy, you
Mhm.
know, and like, oh, they referenced Jabba, but like, other than that, like, I can't tell you if like, oh, the story's intriguing. I can tell you that I like Kay so far, like
Mhm.
the short little burst I played of her.
And Grim just follows that up. Just tell me this. Do I pre-order, yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, I'm usually so anti pre-order because I work like I used to work at GameStop. I don't know. Yeah. So but listen, I'm not bound by any GameStop number store quota I have to hit. I would say yes, pre-order this game. I had a lot of fun with it, and that's what I'm going to do. So yes, it to me it's like this earns a day one, because I know there was one question like, well, it's an Ubisoft game, can I wait? If you are a diehard Star Wars fan like myself, there is no waiting. Like this is a really, really fun time. Is it like Star Wars, Jedi Survivor? That's my go-to like Star Wars game. I wouldn't say it's on that level from what I've played, but is it really close? Yeah, it's in striking distance. I think depending on where this story goes, this could be a really solid entry into the Star Wars universe in terms of the games wise, because we're at this point where it's like Battlefront, modern Star Wars games. You got Battlefront 1, which is like a hot mess. Battlefront 2, which got there really, it took them a really long time. And then you have like the Survivor, the Jedi series, which is just immaculate. And I think this is going to be right next to the Jedi series as like, this is a really good Star Wars experience. So I would say yes, pre-order it. Yeah.
And I think now, obviously, we're all gamers here, and everybody watching this is a gamer, so this isn't really going to apply to them. But I think this is an easier point of entry into a Star Wars game. So if you are a Star Wars fan, but you're not necessarily a huge gamer, the Jedi games can be challenging. They are not easy games. So if you are not a gamer trying to jump into that might not be your thing. I feel like this is going to be challenging in different ways. But it's just, I think, an easier game to get into if you are not a huge gamer, and an easier point of entry for Star Wars gaming. So I think that's a good draw for people too, potentially.
Yep, definitely more approachable than like the Souls, like the Jedi series is. For sure.
That's going for sure, for sure.
Awesome. Well, I'm still not totally jealous that you guys got to play. I guess I have to wait till August 20-something. 23rd.
23rd. Yeah. Really good time. Thank you so much. And this was the one thing where when I saw this opportunity, I'm like, "And Kyle, you have no choice. I'm sorry, I'm doing this." There's no debate.
You
this
make
is a
it sound like I was fighting you on this. You're a Star
no,
Wars.
And you were
fan,
like, "Yeah, sure, go for it."
Yes. By the way, how did it look? I know you played remote, so like.
We can't talk about performance.
No, sure.
But yeah, no, it wasn't on a PS5, which is fine. I know the one question was, was it a preview event or remote? It was remote, so we played through the cloud.
Yeah. Visuals are nice though. Everything's pretty. The
game's pretty. The one last thing I'll touch on is this. You know, the whole thing that I said earlier of like the world exists without you in it. That speaks to the cities as well, man. Like the cities are dense. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of scripting that like you see one guy getting tossed out of like the poker, like your sabacc, game that they were playing, which sabacc is reverse blackjack, and I got to play it for a few rounds. And did I crush it? Yeah, sure. But like the world it feels alive while you're around it. It's really beautiful. And like some of the lighting effects, like I can't wait to play this on PlayStation 5 because like how the light hits the mist, I'm like, man, I can't wait to play this when it's on a PS5 so I could see that effect. It's beautiful.
Cool.
It really is.
I was walking through that city, the second city we were able to explore, and there was a stormtrooper like keeping lookout, and he adjusted his foot and looked at the bottom and picked something off the bottom of his boot because there's something stuck in the bottom of his boot. I just like those stupid little things like that where, again, going back to the Red Dead, it feels like they're just living their lives. Like the stormtrooper's got gum on his shoe. He's just trying to get it up.
Yeah. He's like, goddamn Ewok turd. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our impressions of Star Wars Outlaws. It's a really good time, y'all. Really good time.
Definitely excited.
All right, time for some flash news. Gotta go fast. We're running a little late. Oh, God. Okay. Catch your breath. Visions of Mana demo now available ahead of the August launch. Hey, y'all. You interested in Visions of Mana? I downloaded the demo, but was too tired to play. That's just the life of an adult now. But you could go play it. Tell me how it is, because God knows I'm gonna go sleep after this. But yeah, go play it. It's awesome that they're doing that. Netflix BioShock adaptation. I'm just gonna read the title here because reading anymore will piss me off. BioShock adaptation will be, quote, more personal film as opposed to a grander big project. Why? Okay, I'll read the quote. So we're doing a much smaller version. It's going to be more personal point of view as opposed to a grander big project. Lee also told the audience that Netflix also changed its, quote, compensation strategy so that more traditional film production studios bonuses are attached to viewership, motivating producers to actually do a move that gets a bigger audience. So it's like, hey, Netflix slashed the budget. Well, then don't make BioShock. I'm sorry. It's a beautiful. What do you mean more personal?
So for me, this is how I took it.
Okay.
They're really just going to focus on you as the player going through, and then the big reveal at the end instead of like all the fancy like. I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of shots of Rapture under the city or anything like that. Like it'll be more kind of. It makes me sad because I want to see it, but. I just think it's going to be more like human, personal story between the main character, which I'm blanking on his name. I know the bad guy, Andrew Ryan. Do you have a name in that game?
I don't think in the first one. I know the third one, you're Booker DeWitt.
Yep. Booker Catch.
Yeah, I don't remember a name. But the thing that made me sad about this is there are so many really cool side stories that kind of like in in The Last of Us. Like, you
Sure,
wouldn't pick up on
yeah.
them if you didn't read the stuff, but if you paid attention to your environment, there's a lot of that. And I know, like, in the later games too, like those little audio logs you can
Yep.
listen to, but there are so many little of those side stories. Like, they could also do a spin-off series that was like an anthology series where each episode was just like a different. So there's so many cool ways they could go about this. So I'm gonna stay hopeful.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, it's never good when you're like, oh yeah, we're doing this intentionally, but really it's like corporate speak. No, we have no budget now.
Yeah.
You could thank
It
the
hurt
WWE
my
for that
soul.
one.
My Mr. Bubbles is sad back there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't see it. That's awesome. Yeah.
He's sliding.
Yeah. Thank you, WWE.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Netflix, that was a pretty penny for Netflix, so.
That's fine. Anything for Miss Ripley, I guess. What mommy wants, mommy gets. You know what I'm saying? All right. Hey, y'all, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? PlayStation Plus leaks! ! Question mark, exclamation point. That was me. From this comes from Radic on X. It's Twitter. An email from PlayStation advertising PlayStation Plus accidentally mentions Secret Agent Clank, which is currently not on the service.
Yay.
Which means one of the other games that was been rated is Time Splitters 2.
Oh.
And that gets me very excited. So
Cool.
Looks like we'll be getting an announcement from that soon.
Okay. We already have
also-
Dexter, the PSP game, so this makes sense to get this one eventually.
Yeah, give us more PSP stuff. You know, I like this. It makes me feel nice. Games in development prior to September 2023 are exempt from the SAG-AFTRA strike. Just in short, I'm gonna try to get some voice talent to talk about the strike in depth so that we're not out of our element. But actors and actresses across the voice acting sphere are striking due to a large part AI and how AI gets to use their voices without their consent. And they want compensation if you're going to use their voice. So yeah, best of luck. And again, hopefully in the next few weeks, we get some deeper insight, but hope to get everything that they want.
That's such a wild thing for me to just think about. Like, somebody's voice is so personal.
Yeah.
And to just allow AI to just kind of use it as it's very violating. And I'm not a voice actor. Just like thinking about it, it's weird.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. Next, a little bit of Flash news. Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's do this. The PlayStation Plus monthly games for August are in. This is your essential games. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Go for it. That's a great game. Five Nights at Freddy's: Security Breach.
Ooh-wee.
Not even.
Is that the VR one?
Could even. No, this is PS5,
No.
PS4.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the kids see in this game, but whatever. Ender Lilies: Quietus of Nights.
Cool. That is
month,
like
month.
a well-regarded Metroidvania.
Oh,
Okay, that's why I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Decent month, not the best, but
I'm excited to play
not worse.
the new Lego Star Wars. I haven't played it with like the
Okay.
new engine for like the third person stuff. So
And it's a huge game, so there's like a lot of content there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Instead of what you've been playing, because that was really just all of Star Wars.
Can I put something in there for what you've been playing?
Please.
Because I can talk about something that the embargo's
I'll
up.
allow it this once.
I got to play Thank Goodness You're Here.
Okay.
Shout out to Papa Gender for the code. I liked it. Didn't love it. If you don't know what it is, they call it a slap.
A slap what?
Slap.
Choose your words carefully.
I know. I'm trying. It's a platformer cross slap. Slapformer. I almost said.
That's not what I thought you said.
No, I definitely
Exactly. I was
said
like,
slap
whoa.
corner. I definitely said slap corner. I meant slapformer.
I was like, whoa, okay.
Whoa.
I'm not here to judge.
Whatever you're into.
Exactly. But you play as this little lad. It's and you're going around, and to interact with everything, you're slapping everything, and it's very traditional British humor. It's got Matthew Berry from What We Do in the Shadows voicing one of the characters.
No way.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I love the look of it. It's very like, it's very cartoony. It reminds me a lot of like Highlights magazine, like the hidden picture kind of stuff. It's beautiful. It's very colorful. I didn't love the way that you have to traverse back and forth because there's a lot of back and forth that you're doing. The main selling point though is the humor, and sometimes it hits real well, and sometimes it doesn't. Which
It really
Would you
depends
say
if
it's
you're into.
slapstick humor?
Hey. Yes, I would. Very good.
I like it.
Very good.
I like it. I'll allow it.
And it was relatively short, like I think 3.5 hours, 4 hours. So
Wow.
it's a good little. It's a good time. Everyone can play it. All you have to do is literally it's one button to slap, one button to move around.
Easy platinum?
No.
Oh.
Light's asking the good questions.
There's a lot of, and some of it is like sort of puzzly. There's a lot of things that you kind of have to discover like on your own. It doesn't tell you off the bat. So that can be a little tough, but I think it's worth your time if you have a few hours and you want, some funny laughs going around. But yeah, it's a good time.
Also, Light, TZ in chat says, Light is sure to give a little screen time to Dr. Pepper. I see you're also a woman of culture. I like that.
I have a Dr. Pepper addiction. It's a problem.
Can I say it, low key? Diet Dr. Pepper better than Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi.
So I'm gonna start trying to cut back on my sugar intake with the soda because I drink way too much of it. So I bought some Diet Dr. Pepper or Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. I don't know. There was two options. I didn't know which one to get.
The zero versions are better than Diet, in my opinion.
I think I got the zero sugar, but my plan is to do like mix half and half and drink half and half for a couple weeks and then slowly transition so that my taste buds get used. It's a problem. It's a problem.
That is addict behavior. Let me tell you.
Normally, see, this is why I never did drugs because it would be bad for me.
Yeah, so during Lent around Easter time, I always used to give up soda, and I would do it cold turkey. The caffeine headaches by day 1 and 2 after not having them were brutal. So
it's not even the caffeine, it's the sugar.
Yeah.
It's the sugar. I couldn't drink it when I was pregnant, A, because I was too sick, but B, just because you're not supposed to. And when I tell you, I was just bedridden for days. And even by the end of the 9 months, I was still craving it. It still was there. The sugar is just horrible. So that's why I'm hoping if I just slowly transition over a couple of months, maybe we'll get off it.
Honestly,
probably not. But
hearing that like women can't have caffeine when they're pregnant, it's like, guys, they should. Why are y'all getting paid less? You guys need to be paid more. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
that's a whole different podcast. I got a lot to say.
I know. Like, my God, man, the injustice is real because I could not live without. Like, soda, I could totally. It's fine. I can get rid of it. Coffee though. Oh, just shoot me in the head. I don't want to live without it. I don't function well without it. So like, yeah, no.
I don't drink coffee or anything else. It's just the Dr. Pepper. It's just the Dr. Pepper. But then what is life? Just drinking water? Because I can't drink juice because I've got acid reflux. It's like, what? I'm supposed to live on water forever?
So
no.
Real talk, sparkling ice. It's like good like seltzer-ish type game like drink it. It's pretty good. Zero sugar. I like seltzer.
Yeah.
I'm old. This is where I get old.
The flavored stuff gives me migraines. I'm a mess.
Oh, that's fair.
It's everything falling apart. You hit 30, you're done.
It's so true. Real talk, I got out of the car different today, and I pulled my lower back. You believe that?
I do.
1,000% I do.
I do.
I sit here at my desk and I just like move my legs out a little bit, and my hips crack like all the time. Like.
Yep.
I'm a mess.
Like if you ever see me like do this on the podcast, it's because like I'm cracking my elbows. Like I'm breaking apart. It's not good. It's not good luck.
We're old. Anyway. This is what this stream has told us. We don't know the youth slang.
Yep.
We're breaking apart.
Yep.
We're so old. Playing games that our demoists were not alive for. Just
we need a touchiness slider for
a touchiness slider.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. Yeah, no. Yeah. It's bad times. Anyway, are you holding on to something? Maybe a glimmer of hope.
I got a pen.
I don't know. Youth, prepare the drop. Here are the latest steals and deals coming to the PlayStation storefront. This week, hey, look at this. Case of the Golden Idol comes out on the 29th.
Indie Darling one of the best reviewed games when it came out on Steam a few years ago.
Oh,
I have to look into that.
Oh, okay.
It's like a detective adventure kind of point and click type of game.
Oh, I love that.
Is this one of the ones that we have
We
on
have
our
the
Fantasy
sequel
League?
on Fantasy Critic. Yep.
Oh, so this is the first
This
one.
is the first one.
Okay. I was gonna look up the Open Critic. I was gonna yell at you or praise you, depending on
That
okay.
Open Critic, I think, is high 80s.
Okay.
For the first one.
All right. Eat shit, Luke Lore. Compound, July 30th. Dead Link, July 30th. Sword and Fairy, in 2 on July 30th. Death Noodle Delivery.
Best name
Hell
ever.
yeah.
It's the best, man. July 31st. Mars 2120, August 1st. Uh-oh. Quirko City, August 1st. Star Wars Bounty Hunter. That's one Star Wars game I
Joe,
didn't get to play.
you're going to hate yourself.
Why?
I believe that name of the game is Curiosity. And it's just spelled with a Q.
I'm gonna go. Don't do that to me. Not you, Kyle. Whoever named that. All right, the naming convention.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. Okay. Sumo Rumble, August 1st. Thank goodness you're here.
Hey.
August 1st. Tomba.
Oh, how
Special
dare
Edition.
you. It's Tomba. It's one of my childhood favorite games of all time. I cannot wait that it's here. It's here tomorrow?
Yeah.
As of
Yeah.
recording?
August
Oh
1st.
my god, yes. Oh,
Let's go.
I'm so excited.
Arrow the Acrobat. On August
It's-
2nd.
it-
That
it's
sounds
weird.
cute.
It's weird that you bring that up because I was watching a Kind of Funny Game Showdown, and this was one of the questions that Blessing asked everybody. A forgotten mascot. I can't believe that it's back on modern consoles. It's I think it's
This
an
is a
old
thing?
Sega
Oh.
platformer or
So
a Super
what-
Nintendo platformer
Super Nintendo. Yeah.
that no one really
Looks like-
cared about, and it's here. That's really weird.
Okay. It's like the Noid.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Scylla, August 2nd. Closer the Distance, August 2nd. Colorama, Cubes, August 2nd. The Mortuary Assistant. Jesus.
So
we talked about
good.
getting old
That
and now-
one
Oh, is it?
has a following.
Yes, I played that for the first time on Steam not too long ago. It's good.
Yep.
I had
Ooh,
some jump
check it
scares, let me tell you.
Yep.
Oh,
I'm
it's
excited for this
ooh,
on
no,
console.
no,
it's
no,
a
no,
it's a
that's
spooky. You're actually a mortuary assistant, and it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's scary. I don't like that.
That's cool.
That
It's coming to
woman's
PlayStation.
face. That woman's face freaked me out. That's the first thing I see is like this vampire lady. I can't deal. That said, Kyle, it's the last segment of the show, but our favorite segment of the show. It's time for the Sony Pony Express.
Yeehaw!
That's right.
Remember what the thing was for that one? I'm sorry, drop the ball.
No, it's okay.
No, it's
I
good,
remember
it's good.
the flash.
The only question from the Sony Pony Express, because we used them elsewhere, thank you everyone for writing in, comes to us from Donuts76. Gentlemen and lady, Star Wars related question for you. I 100% want to play it, but I also want to play Astro and Wukong. Can't afford all three. I know it's hard to know without playing the other two games, or have you, wink wink, but is Outlaws a day one purchase? We kind of already talked about it.
Oh yeah.
Should all others wait maybe? Thanks from London.
Oh, sorry. Why did I do that? That's disrespectful. Katie was teaching me a whole lot of British slang.
Yeah.
She taught me about in it.
Mm-hmm.
What's another one? What's a pang? That's it. Like that's like a like if you see a cutie, you go, "Oh, you're a pang" or something like that.
Too many new words. Too many new words.
Next time
It's-
you,
but, like,
you talk to
British slang
Katie,
is
you
good.
bring up gat. Teach her about gat.
Yeah. Like, well, listen, Katie. Let me sit you down for gat.
Skibbity Ohio wrist toilet.
Yeah. Are you a Sigma, Katie?
Oh no. Oh, I hate this. I
Katie,
really
I hope
do
you
hate
had a
that
safe flight back home. For me, out of these three, as much as what you guys talked about of Star Wars, I'm super hyped for. Astro to me is still my most anticipated in the next coming months.
Mm.
So for me, that would be my only purchase out of these three choices, but
Fair.
I defer to both of you.
It's a good one. If you could only buy one game, this is a PlayStation podcast, you know? So as much as I did love Outlaws, and I do think it's worth a pre-order. It's like Astro Bot though. Like, I mean, if it's anything like if it's Playroom but longer, you're talking about one of the best platformers out there. So I'm like Astrobot 100.
It's hard
110%.
because it depends on what you are into, right? Like if you're super into platformers, definitely Astro. If you're into like the Souls-like, Wukong is like a Souls-like, right? So they're hard.
Kind of, sort of. It's like we're inspired.
Okay.
But they get very like, we're inspired by Souls, like,
Let's
but
be
we're
real.
not really there.
We're doing too many. Like, it's not really a Souls-like. It's a Souls-like. It's inspired by Souls-like.
Come on. Yeah.
So it's hard because they're so different. I think you kind of have to like reflect and be like, okay, what kind of a game do I want? And that almost makes it easier in a way because, if you, I don't know. I would say Star Wars because I'm an open world girly.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm kind of yearning for an open world as well. So like, yeah, it would be a toss up for me because you're right. Like if I'm looking like I played Stellar Blade, I played Elden Ring. Do I really need to play another like action game in similar veins? No. Open world, there hasn't been a lot this year for me at least. So like
Final
Outlaws
Fantasy
is there. Final
The
Fantasy.
Astrobot is probably more of a known quantity too. Like it's going to be 100% well, I guess you don't know, but I feel like it's going to be a 100% polished, ready to go game versus something like Outlaws. We loved it, but it is an open world Ubisoft game. So, it's less of a known quantity.
Yeah, great.
Fair.
I totally forgot.
Nisa writes in.
I also played Stellar Blade too. Not a fan.
Yeah, sorry, you didn't like it that much?
No. We could talk about it next week.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe we'll talk about it on the post show. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Nisa writes in, forgot to ask, has anyone played Fallout London? Bam, watching Oxhorn play it looks fun. That's the mod?
I think so.
Right?
I'm unfamiliar, but
yeah, I'm unfamiliar with its game, but it's another youth saying. I'm just saying. But yeah, no, if I was like a PC gamer, I'd probably be looking at that for sure.
I watched Greg Miller try to play it, and it looked like it was going to be fun, but then he was having issues, and I don't think he ended up... I had to stop watching before he figured it out. But I do know there's another YouTuber out there, Jonesy Space Cat. She does Let's Plays and stuff. Isn't it? You're an Aliens fan. She is like a voice of an NPC in that. So if you're a fan of... I don't know if there's any fans of Jonesy in the chat, but she's in there, so that's really cool too. But she's awesome, and... That's what made me intrigued, but again, not a PC gamer. I'm not gonna try to do a mod. There's no way I'm gonna get that working.
Right. Mm-hmm. She's gonna get a follow from me just because of the Aliens reference.
Yay!
I respect that immensely. Oh my god, one of the best trailers I've seen this year is for Romulus. I cannot wait. So sorry for the rain. I got lost in the sauce for the xenomorphs. That said, that was our only questions for the show. That's been the trophy room this week. Before we got on out of here, Light, is there anything you'd like to spotlight before we hit the road?
If you want to check out my YouTube channel, since we're already here on YouTube, that'd be awesome. Lightweight Gaming. Doing a couple different Let's Plays right now, trying to platinum Red Dead Redemption 2, playing Bully for the first time, playing Portal 2 for the first time. And then I'm also on Twitch too, if you want to be there. Or if you're more of a movie buff, Lightweight Reacting. I just reacted to Gladiator today, actually. So if you want to check either of those out, that'd be awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks for coming
absolutely.
back, Light. It's always a pleasure.
Yes.
I am so grateful to be here. Anytime you want me on, let me know. I loved it. So much fun.
You're going to regret saying that because I'm going to start asking a lot.
Am I?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I just saw you reacted to Back to the Future first time watching.
I lived under a rock, okay? So I watched the same movies on repeat. Disney movies, seen them all. Marvel movies, seen them all. Jackie Chan movies, seen them all. But I watched those same movies on repeat. I'm just now opening my horizons.
Okay.
Watched the Alien movies for the first time. Well, the first two.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. You can stop there, actually.
I had seen
did
like
that,
Prometheus and
last year.
stuff,
Yeah.
but yeah. So it's been cool. It's been great.
Oh my god. Yeah, no. Okay. Spoiler for how did you like Back to the Future?
I loved it. Oh god, which one was my favorite? Probably Probably the first one, just because it's the first one.
Respectable.
But I honestly loved the third one. I think I liked the third one better than the second one, which I was shocked about. I was shocked about.
I wouldn't say it's better than 2, but like because like people like to trash the third one. They don't
Oh,
respect cinema.
see, I loved the third one.
It's still like a really good like mine's is 2. Because I like when they go back to the future.
Oh.
Mhm.
Whoa. The whole like
Stop
the
the
whole
presses!
hoverboard race.
Spoilers, Jeff.
Yeah. The whole hoverboard, like hoverboards can't go on water unless you have power. Oh, I love that line, dude. So awesome. Biff, the total dick, but like I loved his goofy futuristic look.
How they tied the manure into every movie too. Just Chef's Kiss. Just brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
No notes. Kyle, is there anything you'd like to spotlight before we get on out of here?
Myself, Mr. Kiss up pretty much everywhere. Go follow 61indie on Twitter and all their social places. I'm heading to New York City to film the showcase this weekend, so
It's exciting.
We're getting there. It's very nervous. I always get nervous for it, but yeah, I'm excited to show you all on September 19th. It's little peek behind the curtain. We added a new game today, randomly. So
nice.
Oh.
We thought we were done, and then someone was like, "Hey,"
and then you saw one more, and
you're like, "Oh, this is really cool. We gotta add it."
Oh man. Well, listen. Link to everything down below. Link to Light's channel and all that good stuff.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And again, like anytime, open invitation. You were fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. You can find me over at Mr. Badbit, where I'll upset some people over there on Twitter, and then on Threads at Mr._Badbit. You know, I'm trying new things now. You know, I'm gonna see if I can't will myself to make an Instagram or even a TikTok. I'll do a dance. You know, but soon. Those things will happen soon. And if you really like the show, of course, head on over to patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. Really does help us out, even if it's $1 a day. It really does. Or sorry, $1 a month. It really does help us out. And hey, if you're like, I would love to help support the show any which way I can, please consider leaving a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It really does help us out. Like my good friend Stern Scouting at Apple Podcast writes 5 stars. Joel and Kyle are absolute fantastic show and informative, fun, lighthearted, funny, and everything else that is good. No toxicity, and they don't hate other platforms. They just put together an awesome show every week. Hugely recommend. Sammy. Thank you so much, Sammy. And Emmerich. Here's one. Emmerich. Mispronouncing your name because you're from France. Ooh-wee. I listen a lot on I listen to a lot of podcasts, and this one for me is the best for PlayStation news. It used to be Beyond, but Jonathan Dornbush left, and so it is now the Trophy Room. Thank you so much. Dorno is to me the GOAT forever and always. But yeah, thank you so much. Just so many nice comments. And again, last but not least, the last one. This comes from player 05496. Gooner merch when? In time. The cogs are spinning. The wheels are turning.
I thought we were going to make it the whole episode.
No, we're going to goon when we can. We may goon at the very end. We may goon in the beginning. We may goon in the middle. We may goon the entire show, Kyle. With all that said, and with all that out of the way, everybody, keep your wits about you, keep hunting, and keep playing PlayStation. See y'all.
Bye, everybody. Love you.